fresh map, get lost now with no extract. Like look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see beating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you gotta cry with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Ayy, sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you owe us that. My truth lurks till y'all collapse. Now scoop first where your homies at. Cause my team with me right now. My team's on me right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you gotta cry with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you gotta cry with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in a limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high rises, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. sweet. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look at sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look.
You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. You take us down, keep fighting.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Well, welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series for Free Fire Challenge Group Stage Season 2. And we're finally going to kick off the Challenge Group Stage with representatives from multiple regions, not just from MSP alone, but we have Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia joining in the fray as well. My name is Husky, and alongside me is Dana Lee.
It's really exciting to be here. I know some people probably thinking like, hang on, we're actually back again for Free Fire. And that's good because, I mean, we got ambushed just now. I hope some of you guys are getting ambushed as well. Because here's the most exciting thing, right? I love seeing different regions clash. You get to see these different play styles come into play. You also get to see how the regions fare against each other, right? Because you've got these different levels of power. You have these different teams having to adapt to each other because we always see when you stick to one region, sometimes you're stuck with that one style of play because that's the meta. But you don't really have a meta during day one of a cross-region event.
That is the best part of Free Fire in general, right?
Yeah.
You get to see all these different flavors and flares. And we just got done with the Free Fire World Series, so there's just some teams are coming off of a high. It is a very good time for Free Fire, and it's a very exciting time to witness if some of these teams still have that momentum. But of course, I think before we talk about the game and all, we do have a format video for you guys, just to let you guys understand how it works in Snapdragon Pro Series.
Hello survivors, and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Season 2. My name's Dana Lee, and it has been an exciting series so far in the Asia-Pacific region. Here's how the format works. Teams are divided into 4 separate regions, with 24 teams representing each region in the qualifying finals group stages. Only 12 teams from each region will move on to the regional finals. Teams then battle it out in the regional finals, and only the remaining top 3 teams in each region will represent their region in the upcoming Challenge Season 2. Let's check out some of the highlight moments and how they got there. Over in Malaysia, Singapore and the Philippines, there were intense shootouts happening between the teams. Shotguns seemed to be the weapon of choice here, as most teams tested their skills when meeting their opponents face to face. Auto knockout was seen as major threats after their dominance in the group stages. However, they failed to show the same level of gameplay in the regional finals. Most of the competition though seemed to be between Farang and Expand, with Expand getting 4 booyahs, thus giving them a dominant lead. AB Radicals delivered an unbelievable performance too, getting the booyah and 23 kills. Ultimately though, the tough competition for top 3 ended with Expand, FARANG, and AXIS Esports coming out on top in the region. Heading over to Thailand, the fan favourites here have been putting on quite a show. EARENA put on a solid performance even though they failed to secure a booyah on the first day. They eventually picked up the pace and had good flanking, which helped them secure a booyah even in a 2v3 situation. King of Gamers Club was putting on a show. They got 4 booyahs during the regional finals and have shown why they deserve to play with the big boys. NIGMA Galaxy showed the most consistent performance by being top 3 after almost every match. It was their gameplay and skills that showed why they're one of the fan favourites in Thailand. Their understanding of the game and high skills put them at the top of the Thai region along with EARENA and King of Gamers Club. In the Vietnam region, the regional finals has been a show for the teams to showcase their talents. The matches between Heavy, Team Flash, MDH Esports, and HQ Esports were highly competitive. Team Flash were dominating early on and secured 2 booyahs, but Heavy were leading in overall points. Similarly to other regions, teams at Vietnam liked getting their kills in close quarter situations, and even got some vehicle kills. Roadkill! beautiful grenade throws, multiple frags, and highly accurate shots also helped MDH Esports get a booyah and 20 kills in just one match. At the end of the day, the top 3 Vietnamese teams were Heavy, MDH Esports, and Team Flash. Finally, onto Indonesia. The battle for top 3 in the Indonesian regional finals was super close amongst all 12 teams. After a stunning group stage, OPI looked to continue leading the region. However, all the teams were fighting a close battle and were hungry to get top 3. With such amazing plays and tactics, Indonesia showed us why they have such amazing Free Fire teams with glorious action all around. At the end of the day, the top 3 Indonesian teams were Saudara Esports, First Raider Eclipse, and DEWA United Esports. And those were the highlights for the top 3 teams from each region. These teams will be facing 6 invited teams from Challenge Season 1. These teams are Sem9, Anxiety, EVOS Phoenix, EVOS Divine, V Gaming, and Attack All Round. Out of all the teams, which country has the better Free Fire players?
I want to quickly answer that question. Thailand has the best Free Fire players. But before we take a look at Thailand as a region, we gotta look at MSP
You're
as
gonna
a
give
whole.
them a chance.
We gotta give them a chance, you know.
Yeah.
The invited teams with Anxiety and Sem9, they've been around for a very long time. Obviously, for Sem9, there's been a pretty rocky ride. They recently had a
Yes.
slightly roster change coming into this, so it's a lot. There's a lot to be desired. But we also have AXIS Esports, FARANG, and Expand, who qualified from the Open Finals. And Expand, they just came back from the world stage.
They've got a lot of potential, these guys. I think a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye out for them if you're cheering for the MSP region, because we have to keep in mind, right, we're not just doing this region alone. We've got four regions total that we do need to keep an eye on. So next up, we're going to take a look at Indonesia Husky. I think we also have to agree that Indonesia, yes, maybe they didn't do as well, but
Yep.
they didn't get the crown. They're just as good.
They're just as good for sure. You know, we have EVOS Divine, the invited teams, but for the qualified teams, we have DEWA United, we have SCS ALFAINK, and we have First Raider Eclipse. And for SCS ALFAINK or Saudara Esports, these guys, they also just came back from the world stage, and they did put on a pretty decent performance. They were the first seed from Indonesia going onto that world stage, so I think they would probably carry their momentum and give us a good show in this challenge group stage. But for what I consider to be the strongest region in Free Fire so far, we have the Thai region, EVOS, Phoenix, and Attack all around the invited teams. One was the world champion for Sentosa, and one was just became world champions in Bangkok, 2-time world champion in fact. But for the qualified teams, we have EARENA, King of Gamers, and of course NIGMA Galaxy, the up and rising team from Thailand.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Thailand and to see whether or not the teams can keep up with them, right? Because the world stage is much more different than this. World stage, it basically happened over 2 days. But before that, we'll wrap up with our final team here, Husky. We've got Vietnam on the screen. Who have we got playing in the competition?
Yeah, we have V Gaming as the invited team. Heavy, Team Flash, and MDH Esports are the teams that qualify from their respective Open Finals, and of course Team Flash were also on that world stage. But they kind of suffered the same fate as Expand. Didn't make it through the play-ins, but they were a thorn in the side for Expand in general, because they took Expand out in like 3 out of 8 rounds. So it's going to be a bit of a rivalry in this group stage, but we have plenty of days to see how these teams fare against each other for the Covenant prize pool of 30,000 SGD in first place.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that delicious first place prize. I mean, second place isn't too bad either. You got $20,000. So you just shave off 10. It's not too bad. But if anything, got to aim for that first spot. But again, this prize pool, very, very delicious. Let's not forget, this is also just a reminder as well, this is USD, bit of a mistake on our behalf. But this is not the end goal for the teams, right? There's a lot of money on the line here, but the most important one is the next prize pool that we're going to be seeing on the screen. This is the finals prize pool. So before that, it was just stage 1. If you win that, it's totally okay. But $65,000 US. So first place if you make it to the grand finals and knock out first place.
You not only put yourself in a position to contest for $65,000, you also get to play in Jakarta for the final. So there's so much on the line for these teams, and that's the wonderful thing about Free Fire, right? You get a piece of the pie at every single stage of the league, but it only depends on how big of that piece you get.
Yeah, exactly. So $65,000, it's going to be the big thing you're aiming for in that final. But let's take a look at our point system. Now, this is pretty standard across the board. We haven't seen any major changes. It's 12 points if you knock out that booyah, 9 points if you get second, and you are going to go down that leaderboard. Now, 11th and 12th, you're going to get no points at all, which again, very standard. And we have the usual 1 kill equating to 1 point. And this is a great comeback mechanic, especially for teams that are pretty kill heavy, but might not be able to secure those placement points.
And we have seen a plethora of examples for teams that might not be the best at surviving until the end, but just garnered enough points through eliminations. And that was also a factor why EVOS Phoenix won the recent World Series.
Yes.
So do get those kills rolling. This will be today's schedule. We have Bermuda and Kalahari as our map pool, alternating between both of them, starting with Bermuda and ending with Kalahari. For the first 2 maps, we have Group A against Group B. Third and fourth map will be Group B against Group C, and the last 2 will be Group A versus Group C.
I know some people are thinking like, hang on a minute. So we've seen everything else. We've seen the money, we've seen the maps. Yes, we're going to be getting Bermuda and Kalahari for day 1. But what are these groups looking like, right? We're going to see it in just a second. And I think some of you are going to be looking at the screen with your mouths wide open because some of these groups are absolutely terrifying. So Husky, walk us through the groups. What's the situation here? What would you say is the toughest group? And probably what's the most complicated group?
I think Group A is basically the group of death. You have EVOS Phoenix and NIGMA Galaxy, basically the 2 strongest Thai teams right now. You know, Sem9, MDH, First Rated Eclipse, and AXIS Esports make up the rest of it.
So firstly, how did they end up in the same group? I think that's the biggest question.
Yeah. And basically, we categorize them depending on their seedings, right? It's kind of a mix of everything. For example, for Group A, we have the 1 team from MSP, the invited team. We have the second invited team from Thailand, with the second invited team from Indonesia. Also, first seed of Thailand. That's how we got EVOS Phoenix and NGX in the same group. Of course, we have another MSP team. The third seed, I believe it was AXIS Esports. And of course, 1 team from Vietnam, which is MDH Esports. So it's actually a pretty balanced distribution of teams, but we somehow ended with 2 juggernauts in Group A.
But who knows though, like again, we do need to reiterate that this is going to be a much more different competition. This is over the course of not just 2 days, we've got many play days where these teams are going to be able to prove themselves, and they have days where they're going to be able to research their opponents to see where what drop zones are, who goes for the blue zone during those drops, and maybe play styles as well, right? Like some teams love to play on the outer circle, other teams love to camp the center of the map, which again, all of this incredibly important when you're going into day 1 of the tournament. How does everyone play? Now, we've got some teams to watch. EVOS Phoenix, Expand, as well as Team Flash. I want to start this with a clean slate because I feel like we do have some information on some of these teams, but I feel like, especially during day 1 of any competition, it's sort of like a case of anything goes.
Yeah, it's like everyone is just testing the waters and to see how things pan out. Expand and EVOS Phoenix are actually scrim partners, so you know you can take a page off of each other's playstyles, and all of this made possible by our friends and partners over at Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters. Remember, this is not just for the Covenant prize pool, the trophy. It's also a trip to Jakarta, and also for some of these teams to prove their mettle as well. So I think, you know, coming into season 2, we have been through so much with these guys, right? Some of these teams are returning competitors.
They're really maturing, right? I like to see tournaments like this where it's like wine. You gotta grow.
It ages fine.
Okay, I'm going to stop because it's gone terrible. But you know what's not terrible? As you can see on the screen, we have the Jakarta Grand Final. So this is where the Grand Finals are going to be. It's on the 4th and 5th of February next year. So make sure you've marked your calendars if you haven't already. We did remind you last broadcast, but sometimes you forget, you know. Put in your calendar now so that you do not forget. I'm really excited for this because this is a LAN final. And I think LAN finals, they present their own problems compared to online. You're in an environment where you're with your opponents, and you're out of your comfort zone. You're not on your couch, you're not on your bed, you're not wherever you want to play. Some people probably play in the kitchen, and that's like the best area that they can play.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of players lie down and play and win games.
Some people are on bean bags, you know?
You don't get that on an offline setting, but it also comes down to a battle of wits, right? Because, well, at least from what we've seen, some players can be extremely loud for their own good.
Yeah, I'd also say maybe some players can get tilted quite easily, right? There are probably some people out there that need to play in silence, and then to be in an environment where you have everyone around you screaming when they're getting kills, you're just like, oh, this is actually kind of triggering.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an experience, but we will finally start it off with game number 1 on Bermuda, Group A against Group B. And again, you know, we talked about how Group A is kind of the group of death, but Group B is also not a cakewalk. We have the World Series champion from FFWS Sentosa, Attack All Around in that group. Basically the 3 Thai juggernauts, all in the same lobby.
Yeah, so I'm really keen to see where everyone sort of drops in first. And we are seeing a couple teams actually dropping right on top of each other, right? So we've got DEWA as well as, I can't quite see who that is on the right-hand side. We've got a skirmish in the middle of the map as well. So 2 fights are going on, but we've got 1 death so far, Husky.
First Raider is losing a member already, but we have a couple of brawls around the map. I mean, DEWA running into AXIS, Sem9 running into MDH, and AXIS Esports just got completely obliterated by DEWA.
So fast already, right? Day 1, game 1, AXIS already out of play, no chance to recover, and we actually have another fight happening here, Husky.
What? So Attack All Around, okay, Jump God somehow getting a dock at least. No eliminations for him, but Attack All Around basically setting the battlefield ablaze, and they're not done just yet. I think EVOS Divine is also in the vicinity. We are getting so many combats at the start of the rise. Actually, EVOS Phoenix God Crew showing up, our world champions, not making their presence known from the get-go. Lozzy locked in a 1 versus 1 against God Cruise, but it's not going to be a simple fight. Turns the corner, goes for the swing, ends up losing anyways.
Oh, goodness.
Solo goes down, God Cruise wipes everyone.
EVOS flexing during game 1. They've got 4 kills to their name already. They're going to be able to steal all that loot as well. Fantastic way to start as the world champion, Husky.
Absolutely. Probably not happy he didn't get crowned the MVP, but you know, it's fine.
It's fine, you know.
You know the best part? He was the only guy from his team in that area. No one else was with him.
Oh man, just a one-man job, you know. You're a world champion. It's okay. I can do stuff I didn't usually do before.
Yeah.
It's all good. But this is just such an interesting way to start the day because we've had more than 10 deaths already, 2 teams already eliminated, and we've literally just started. I was expecting this to be maybe a little bit slower to have, these teams test the waters, to get a feel of the competition. Now, of course, the eliminated teams are going to be disappointed, but I guess this is also going to be important for them because they can sit down and evaluate how the other teams play. Take these notes going into that next game.
This is going to, well, if this is how EVOS Phoenix tests round 1, I am very worried for what's to come for all these other guys.
Feel bad for anyone that just drops in with them as the game starts, you know. It's just, who's ready to sacrifice themselves so everyone else can get out? You might need 2 people for that.
We might need 2 squads just to stop EVOS Phoenix, and it might not even be enough, you know. Anxiety running into Expand. This is the only Filipino team in the entire challenge group stage, right?
Yes.
Because you know MSP region is pretty tight competition, so them making it is a huge deal. At that point of time, AV Radicals was kind of the superstar team. So the
But
fact
they
that
just missed out though.
yeah, they just missed out. It was also under very unfavorable circumstances for them.
Yeah, it was a really weird grand final weekend really for that team, right? It's just they kind of exploded during that one game, but they didn't explode enough. So then I think they missed out in like 2 places.
Yeah,
it was pretty close.
The day 1 was pretty underwhelming. Like they were facing, you know, they had a typhoon, and then they were facing internet issues and all. So
yeah,
definitely not a spot they want to be in. But it's a team with a lot of potential, right? I'm pretty sure we will see more of them down the road. But for Anxiety, they are the invited teams. There's a lot to prove, honestly. Especially this squad has kind of been riddled with a lot of inconsistencies. And sometimes we look at them and we think to ourselves, is this really the team that, you know, that can do wonders?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the team be able to pull off some fantastic plays. Like, the players themselves are very gifted. But I think we've seen enough of Anxiety to sort of get that feel that the team is still a little disjointed. It almost feels like at times when they're really under pressure, they lose that sense of direction, right? They don't quite know what they should be hyper-focusing.
It's a very linear team, right? Like, the condition is step one, step A, B, C. If one of those sequence gets messed up, they kind of get lost.
I also think it could be maybe a confidence sort of thing because in the past, right, we saw Anxiety really pop off as a team and I thought like, hey, is this going to be another upcoming team? But then they became plagued with inconsistency. And I think in the past, the inconsistencies came from them not being able to secure placements. They kind of just got eliminated in the middle of the pack. They weren't getting kills at the same time as well. So it was just, they were kind of there. They weren't really becoming that much of a threat.
Kind of a shame, right? Because they had one of the more explosive debuts. I remember when Anxiety joined the Free Fire scene.
I had anxiety watching them. Like, it was good anxiety. But
Kanoho was one of those star players, right? But this team came as fast and went away as fast as it came. And right now, they are just...
they flashed.
Yeah, it's kind of those moments of brilliance. Though today they are playing with Hawkeye instead of Chessman, so you kind of have... we're so used to seeing Chessman being the guy. Sure, there's a big shoe to fill for them. But good news is that Anxiety is still pretty much on the map. There's no eliminations for them just yet. They have not lost a single member. Expand also taking control, or at least navigating away from Clock Tower, which is a bit uncanny because they love this area.
I wonder if they're wanting to maybe try and go hunt for kills, right? Because normally if you're taking 3 vehicles, you're trying to scout out where the competition is. You want to be involved in some of these fights.
And 7-9,
yeah.
They just ran into NGX, right? They saw they just lost 2 members. Of course, NGX, the team only formed, I think, earlier this year, and they have been tearing up the Thai scene. They were the champions of the Open Finals for Snapdragon Pro Series, and they also were the champions of the Thai League leading into the World Series as well. 3rd place in the recent World Series, not too shabby on home ground.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if your success ends on home ground, it's a little...
we haven't seen them on kind of outside of Thailand.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of hoping, right? Like, if you have a team that succeeds on home ground, then your next level of expectation should be them trying to go for success outside of their region. So we've got to keep our eyes peeled because, again, it's just day one.
Yeah.
These teams are still... we can see some of them are still a little bit cold. They're not playing their usual styles that they normally would in their regions. Of course, some teams are doing a little bit better than others, and some other teams have already been eliminated, but that's just the nature of Free Fire. Sometimes you just get punished, and especially for those drop fights, right? When you basically have to fight with whatever gun you find, sometimes you're just unfavorable. You know, you lose the RNG. It's like, oh, okay, I'm fighting close quarter combat with the sniper. Like, okay, that's terrible.
And I think one of the things that separates some of these teams, at least region-wise, is that if we look at Thailand as a whole, most teams there are incredibly aggressive. They love to fight. They will not hesitate to take a fight. But then if we look at perhaps Vietnam, it's a more macro-heavy region.
A bit slower.
A region that likes to slow it down. It does become kind of an issue of concern.
Yeah.
Because what has been working so far is aggressive maneuvers, proactiveness, initiatives. Teams that want to go for the late game generally don't have a good time in the long run. Expand might not have a good time if they run into NGX right now. This is a team that they didn't really get to face.
NGX already know about it.
They're already taking pot shots. Let's see if Expand has learned anything from last week. I mean, they scrim a lot with the Thai team, especially EVOS Phoenix. So there's a lot that can be taken away from those practice. But NGS can be a different ball game. Roy already down the ground.
No. Unfortunate. They are on the low ground as well, so it's not really the ideal position to be as Expand, but no one is really down. Seems like even NGX are sort of hesitant when they want to try and engage into Expand. They're going to play a little bit slower. Let's see if they can continue with the pressure though, because look at this, they're just chasing.
Yeah, they're trying to at least keep Expand at bay, just making sure that Expand will never make it to the high ground and nades are getting tossed out left, right, and center.
I can see on the map though, someone's looking to try and flank.
And he might get it off. Caramel, he's in a pretty decent spot. And Expand, they're split up 2-2. They want to cover as much ground as possible and try to just completely avoid NGX. But NGX, they have that vehicle. Caramel is trying to put himself in a good angle to get these snipes. And because Expand are on the low ground, it makes it even harder for them to just shake NGX off. This is relentless.
I love how they're leapfrogging. I'm not sure if you noticed, right? Like NGX, they're just slowly leapfrogging their way, and it looks like Anxiety on the other side of the map just gets eliminated by EA. Unfortunate, and I do believe that was the only... Oh no, that wasn't the Filipino representative. Anxiety is the Filipino representative.
Anxiety is.
Oh, so that's going to be one team from MSP eliminated. Very unfortunate. I think that's the second team as well, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I think we lost AXIS first to
Yes.
DEWA, and then we lost Anxiety to EARENA. Also another Thai team, right? I think we have like 4 Thai teams in the same lobby.
Look, you already said that Group A was just terrible in general, right? Because you have all these Thai teams.
Yeah, Group A we have two of the strongest one, and then Group B is
champions.
we literally have a champion and an ex-world champion, so it's not looking good. I mean, EVOS Phoenix, they're taking on the team that took away the World Series from them last time and wiped them out without much effort. MDH, on the other hand, facing off against DEWA. Down one man though. DEWA surrounding on all sides. The grenades getting thrown out. Nuke needs to survive this. Wins the 1v1, but it's now getting pincered. No time to recover, but no matter. Nuke still putting his team on his back. Finally shot down as DEWA tries to keep the dream alive, but it's not enough. Just do not have the members to do so.
Nuke did such a good job there. Him alone being able to down 2 players just put his team at a massive advantage. So great elimination. We're going to be seeing a revive here. Sam9 is going to be finishing the round in 7th place. Again, very unfortunate. All the teams from MSP are dropping like flies. So the first game of the day not looking so good for the region. We do still have one more team going, but of course all the Thai teams, they're strong, they're looking fantastic. Very likely that we see one of these teams picking up Booyah for game number 1.
This is so saturated. You have NGX, you have MDH, you have Expand, but of course Expand will be the victims too fast. Finally eliminated by Feel God. NGX is holding such a chokehold. Axel responds, but it's on to MDH, not even on to NGX. Caramel though, not really having a good time. Cobra finishing him off, and Expand finds some signs of life.
I think NGX, they're sort of regretting their position now. They are pinched between 2 teams. Luckily, they're not going to be aggressed from that team who's actually rotating up toward the top side. Team Flash, the next team to be eliminated here is EA, currently sitting in a very favorable position. They're not kill leaders though. They've got 9 kills to their name and they're already looking fantastic, looking to actually prevent these teams from coming into this next circle. And again, now raining hell onto MDH, and it looks like this is going to be the next team to be eliminated.
EA having such a great time, and Don't Cry is the only guy left alive. EA will be able to survive this. Bring Shut Up back up, but unfortunately the blue zone hurts a bit too much. It's phase number 5, so EA will have to just abandon that buddy of theirs and try to go into the last circle. NIGMA Galaxy out in 4th, but we still have EVOS Phoenix, who are our current kill leaders and 4-man strong. EA will have to face off against them.
They're essentially just going to gatekeep that inner circle now. They've got a compound to work with. They don't need to move. The circle is technically pretty favorable to them. They've got a lot of leeway. It's these other teams that have to try and figure out how to get in, because look, there's no compounds. You hardly have any trees to work with unless you can hide behind a blade of grass, which that's not happening, Husky.
Cobra is somehow still alive. EVOS Phoenix saw him, but they couldn't get rid of him. And they're also in danger because EARENA is shooting at them. So maybe Cobra can use this opportunity to just survive for a bit longer. You can see that Moshi is on the ground. And Moshi, this is the guy that is the MVP of the recently concluded FFWS. There's a lot of promise for this guy. Cobra, being forced to return fire onto EA. Finally knocked down Expand out of the picture. Now we got the 2 Thai teams remaining in this final circle. It's EVOS Phoenix against EARENA. Already down thanks to the blue zone. Protene getting a kill, getting that kill. Jonah also getting sniped. Limit gets that shot in, and it's all down to God Cruz. He started the round with the bang, but can he end it just the same? Cannot do so. EARENA with the first ever Booyah of the Challenge group stage.
It looked like it was going to be EVOS there, but just beautiful play from EA. They had a fantastic position, getting that knock as well, forcing basically 3 versus 1. big advantage, especially when it came to those numbers. So, man, already EARENA looking fantastic for this team. And look at them, smiles all around, gonna be very happy. I mean, it's just game one, but who cares? You've got to be feeling pretty good.
I mean, these guys are playing at a boot camp, and that's how serious they take
So
this.
dedicated.
Dedication to the max. But we came into this group stage having certain expectations that when we look at the region of Thailand, it is a region filled with raw,
Talent.
unadulterated aggression and just, yeah, talent. Just teams that you have to take them head on, right? You can't run away from them because they chase you down.
Yeah. I mean, we did see it already. So I think a trend moving forward, and I mean, it's just off of game one, but already you can see from the general playstyle that the Thai teams, they are very confident when they go into those fights. I love the way that they position themselves going into those engagements as well. I think it's the hyper aggression that's going to be scaring a lot of the other teams, right? Because they are so relentless with the pressure that they're constantly applying. I think a great example was NIGMA Galaxy, right? We saw how they were leapfrogging towards Expand. Like, most teams would just be like, oh, you're running away? It's okay, we'll go in the other direction. They kept leapfrogging forward, chasing them down. I mean, ultimately, yes, they didn't get that kill, but I think that aggression might shock some of those teams just because it's not a conventional playstyle.
Yeah, it feels a bit, and I say this in good faith, maybe a bit of just, you know, disrespect because of how confident they are in their own capabilities, right? You just get these
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Although, looking into this game as well, we did see EARENA getting the blue drop point.
Oh, yes.
So I'm wondering if that was also maybe a factor to this team's success, because we know if you're going into the blue zone, you're going to be getting much better gear than everyone else. Any other way to really outdo it is, let's say you completely wipe another team and you completely loot them. Like, that's the only way I think you can outcompete with a blue zone team. But I mean, right off the bat, we're just seeing all of the Thai teams just killing everybody, converting themselves. It's not Halloween anymore, but they're basically playing like vampires and werewolves, and they're going around sucking everyone's blood.
This is basically both EARENA and EVOS Phoenix are playing whack-a-mole, right? It doesn't really matter who gets the booyah at the end, as long as it's from Thailand. You kind of know how strong they are, and just based off of round number one, EARENA placing themselves.
Look at the point discrepancy between second and third.
I mean, this is not just in first place, right? It's 26 points. EVOS Phoenix with 23, and just like you pointed out, Danny, MDH, they're in third place, but are 10 points behind EVOS Phoenix, and the rest of the graph tells a compelling tale of how the discrepancy that we saw in game one.
Yeah, I think especially after seeing this game one, teams are going to have to realize that, all right, if we play too passive during these games, we're not going to get kills, right? It's going to be taken by all the Thai teams because, again, that's their signature play style. So I'm wondering going into this next game. Now, firstly, next game is Kalahari. It's a pretty big map. It's pretty difficult to get a lot of kills on this map. But I'm wondering what's going to be the change going into that next game, because I don't feel like after this game, you should just play your standard game going into Kalahari. You're going to have to change things up to try and adapt to what we're probably looking at the leaders of the leaderboard for quite a while.
I think that these guys would stay there for, you know, maybe a couple, a good amount of rounds, right?
Yeah.
And I think it is also pretty scary if you are any other teams and you look at, for example, just EARENA, EVOS Phoenix, or maybe Attack All Around to a certain extent. And think to yourself, these guys, it feels like they are leaps and bounds ahead in terms of how they approach the game. Sure, we have a couple of weeks to play this group stage, but can they catch up? Can they adapt to it in time?
Look at these 8 headshots here from EARENA. So they ended the round with 14 kills. Excuse me. 8 of them... Oh my gosh, it came back. 8 of them being headshots, and they did 6,158 damage. I mean, to be able to get 8 headshots out of your 14 kills, that's almost half your kills being one-shots.
Yeah. And they share the same elimination total kills with EVOS Phoenix as well. The only difference is just placements, honestly. So EARENA's just very massive openings. We didn't get to see a lot of a few of these kills, but we saw the important ones, right? How they took on EVOS Phoenix and how they were just constantly punishing teams that were not aware of their position.
Yeah.
MDH, for example, got caught completely off guard despite having the full squad alive.
Yeah, so going into this next game, I really want to see what the changes are going to be, right? Are we going to see, especially in our case, right? Because last two, we normally follow the MSP region, and the general playstyle is this. We have one team just constantly going in the exact same drop points. I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing those changes going into Kalahari. Is it going to be someone going into the blue zone constantly? Like, is it going to be EARENA, right? That happened during the first game. Is it going to be happening on Kalahari, or is maybe someone going to try and contest them for that point? Because I feel like, especially after that game, I think someone's going to have to stick their foot and be like, hey, we kind of can't let you constantly take the blue zone.
There are teams who love that blue zone, the high tier blue zone, and one of the teams that from MSP is AV Radicals. They are not in this group stage, but they are a team that is very stubborn, absolutely love the blue zones, and it does make them very easy targets to get hunted down. So we will see if that applies for EARENA, but we, for now, will go take a short breather and we will come back for round number 2 as we head into Kalahari in a bit.
Get over here!
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kalahari.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know they see us walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play, I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me, then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge stage, group stage for Season 2. Today is day number 1 and I'm already jumbling out my words because we saw EARENA getting a devastating booyah in round number 1 with 26 total points. Of course, I'm Husky and I'm joined by Lee to break down the rest of the day for you guys.
Yes. Now, we've just finished up our first game, right? That was Bermuda. So we are going for a map change next. We're going into Kalahari. And just to remind everybody, if you're wondering what's the format today, we've got 2 maps today. We've got 2 maps tomorrow. It's not going to be us alternating between all 4 maps, which I know is started to become the norm, but Bermuda and Kalahari, I mean, I'm totally fine with this. These are 2 really great maps anyway. But let's just have a quick roundup of what's really happened here, right? So this says round 2. It's actually round 1. EARENA getting the first booyah of the day, locking it in 14 kills side by side with EVOS during that first round. So EVOS, yes, they weren't able to get the booyah, but I mean, they got enough points. They basically stole the whole lobby's kills, right? Like everyone was just sort of picking up the pieces thinking like, oh god, who else can we actually shoot?
And EARENA and EVOS Phoenix combined have wiped up more than half the lobby.
Yeah.
That's how much kills that they were getting. EVOS Phoenix started off the round in one of the most fashionable ways.
They were the kill leaders up until that final fight.
Yeah, they were. And the only difference is that EARENA was the team that got the booyah, not EVOS Phoenix. And then we look at MDH coming in 3rd, 10 points deficit, expand in 4th place, and thanks to Cobra being able to survive until the top 3, was able to get enough placement points to at least keep expand afloat. But we are seeing a bit of the Thai style at least. It's
Yeah.
pure aggression, and we also
Non-relenting.
yeah, unrelenting, right? A lot of these teams were caught off guard from the get-go.
Yeah.
AXIS Esports was one of those teams. They didn't get wiped out by a Thailand team, but they did get wiped out by DEWA United from Indonesia.
Yeah, I think these teams are going to have to try and figure out where everyone's going to be dropping, right? Like the most important thing is to figure out where's going to be the safest place to drop and find a place that's also going to complement your play style, because like ultimately the teams are going to try and adapt, but sometimes you kind of have to fall back to what you're good at, right? So if you're a slower team, you need to try and drop away from the competition, have some time to loot up, focus more on that position, play on the outer edge if you really want to, because we know for a fact there are going to be some bloodhounds in these games looking for those kills. The Thai teams, they're very good at it. But we've only seen one game. Maybe we're going to be seeing some of the other regions pop off during game 2, right? One game isn't a good determining factor of what the competition is like.
Yeah, I've seen, so what I've actually seen during the recent World Series was we tend to get a lot of teams in that late game. So you would go into phase 5 and you still have like 10, 11 teams left alive, and it's something that we might not be used in MSP. But before we talk more about that, we do have an interview video with DEWA United. Let's take a look at that and see what the players have to say.
Perkenalkan, saya Panji Dwi Pratama, nick in game saya Dewa KSRen. Saya dari tim DEWA United Esports Regional Indonesia. Saya sebagai leader sekaligus manajer tim DEWA United Esports Free Fire. Nah, jadi yang kita maksimalkan ketika regional final itu agar tim ini lebih konsisten, walaupun sempat beberapa kita turun peringkat dan kita kejar lagi meraih top 3 tersebut gitu. Jadi kita benar-benar try hard, prepare, dan kita berniat emang harus meloloskan ESL di season 2 ini gitu. Kita bukan hanya sekedar pengen lolos di top 3 gitu, tapi kita bakal rebut juara itu gitu. Di season 1 hanya komunitas serta tim-tim divisi 2, sedangkan di ESL Snapdragon season 2 ini ada divisi satunya juga gitu, yang pasti mempertahankan kompon kita. Kita tidak merubah banyak strategi. Nah, strateginya kita beradaptasi lagi, belajar dari kesalahannya, jadi mempelajari lawan siapa yang akan menghalangi jalan kita itu. Apa ya, sebenarnya kita bermain semi agresif gitu. Seperti misalkan kita ditabrak atau diganggu rotasi kita bakal bisa lebih agresif dibanding mereka gitu. Sejujurnya kita sudah mempersiapkan itu. Apa yang mereka mau kita akan ikutin tempo mereka gitu. EVOS define ya. EVOS define kenapa? Karena drop zone dia di Kalahari sama dengan kita. Yang kedua itu dari tim flash gitu. Tim flash itu juga, tapi semua tim menurut aku mesti diwaspadai juga. Kita nggak bisa nganggap remeh, tapi terutama yang pertama kali adalah EVOS define, EVOS connect, sama tim flash. Untuk itu kita belum coba ke sana ya, karena kita mesti lihat review beberapa tim lagi yang siapa yang dekat dan siapa yang bermain pasif dan agresif. Jadi kita lebih mempersiapkan skill karakter kita masing-masing tuh. Jika kalian mau merebut mil, jangan coba-coba karena ada DEWA di situ.
That was a really interesting interview, but it was also a really good insight into how the team generally plays. So just to wrap up, if anyone sort of got lost or maybe only tuned in halfway through that interview. So DEWA described their playstyle as semi-aggressive, but from the way that they described the way that they played, it feels like they're a very reactionary team. They like to protect their compounds, and if someone disturbs their rotations, they said that they'll actually try and react to it, right? They don't just leave, they won't sit passive, they are a team that wants to react. They are not hyper aggressive from what I'm sort of witnessing, But I think the most important thing is that they said one team to look out for them was EVOS Divine, because they share the exact same drop points on Kalahari, which ding ding ding, what is this next map? It's Kalahari, and I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing these two teams drop on top of each other for this game too.
So we just keep an eye out for Mill, because that's what Rain said as well. And I think it's incredibly impressive that he's not only the in-game leader, but also the team manager for the squad, right? So there's so much responsibility. But we also saw how they were able to just barely qualify for the group stage, all the way from 10th spot in their finals, having to fight their way up.
Yeah, I like seeing that storyline as well for the team, because it's not a case of them just sitting on top and staying on top, but the team was able to grow and learn and actually be able to adapt to the meta. So all eyes on this team potentially, as that everyone's already dropped in, and oh my goodness, Husky, a lot is already happening. Look at Refinery!
I feel like if you don't tell me that this is a group stage, I would think that it's just a test run or a script, because everyone is just shooting at each other. MDH has already lost. 2 members is down to DNP and Don't Cry, but aside from that, EVOS Phoenix is on Refinery.
There's 3 teams!
I mean, everyone is here. Frustrated is also a Refinery. Why is everyone a big fan of Refinery? All of a sudden, the EVOS Phoenix, seemingly the one that is doing fine. MDH somehow still keeping 3 members alive, but they are getting absolutely pressured.
My goodness, what a way to start the day for Kalahari. I mean, we don't normally see 3 teams sort of duking it out in a 3-way for Refinery, so nice way to start, but it's very unfortunate that we already see our first elimination, right? Like, you don't want to be taken out so soon, especially during just game 2, right? It's only game 2, and this is also going to be the final round for Group A versus B.
Honestly, at this rate, we're going to have an average time of just 14 minutes per round. The night is going to end incredibly early, because everyone is just relentless. I mean, EVOS Phoenix, slightly slower start, but you can hear all those footsteps. God Cruz is alone again on this.
I love this. I love how he's just looking for kills, right?
He's on an expedition.
Look at him. If you just look at the way he's running and the way that he's actually looking for these kills. He's not hiding.
This is a world champion buff, for sure. No one plays like 100%.
I mean, if they need to, they can just revive him, right? Like, the team's just sitting on top of a revival point. So even if they lose him, it's not really that big of a loss.
Yeah.
And I wish... I'm not sure if the other regions sort of utilize this, but I was expecting teams to play like this when revives first became a thing, right? Like, have someone sort of go out there and scout, and then once they found some information or they die, just bring them back.
When you have someone like God Cruz who can really hold his ground in this manner, well, he just got taken out, but
gone.
in the situations that he gets to hold his ground, it becomes so valuable for your team, because you are basically winning with a deficit. EARENA, though, might not be having such a good time. They are facing off against Semnai, who are perched on top of that crane. It's kind of a very open spot for EA to be in, but so far Semnai, they're not really doing much damage yet. Shut up, he's just gonna chase forward and try to take up as much space as possible. Running into Newbie head on, and Newbie just pumps some slug shells into his body. 2 members of EA getting knocked down.
Big mistake, although they will be able to get at least 1 resurrection up, right? So they've got Shut Up, who's going to be coming in, flying back into that game. They still have, I can't read whose name that is, I think it's like Lim, sitting on top of the crane. So he's sort of playing as the scout for the team, trying to spot where everybody is. But I think after all this, you know, you got to back up, you got to leave. But it looks like for now, Attack, they want to sort of jump into this fight as well. And on the screen, we're also seeing Expand getting a couple of knocks themselves. AXIS not really doing so much, but a lot of action so early in Kalahari. This is so un-Kalahari.
This is the kind of actions that I expect in the last week of the group stage, when teams want to lock in the slot to go to Jakarta. But as things are right now, I think these teams are just incredibly hungry. We are not getting any breathing space, and you know, you would kind of feel for the players who are getting ran at. Phil God just chasing down his prey, almost getting the knock, finally catches him as he leaps out the window. NGX finally getting a couple of actions going. Bio also going down. Team Flash out of the picture. NGX with 4 points.
2 teams already gone. We're only 4 minutes into the game, and it's Kalahari. This is so Kalahari. But again, it's just these Thai teams really flexing, right? The fact that they're looking for all these kills, that any team they run into, they just say like, all right, YOLO, let's go.
I mean,
don't let them go.
welcome to SEA, I guess. This is
No. This is not SEA. It's like, welcome to Thailand.
This is actually a Thai league. I think we're in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong country.
MG is somehow still staying alive. They are getting hunted down by attack all around.
Sometimes you just gotta play the stealth game. Don't get spotted. You can be the one that saves your team. You bring them back, right? You've got the ability to revive people.
If Nuke survives this, it would be an absolute miracle. Well, never mind. They saw him. Yeah, it's lights out.
Yeah, that's okay. Bye-bye. I mean, he's not the last person left on the team. They do have one more player left, so it's not all bad.
AAA has 7 eliminations, and we are under 6 minutes in.
Yep. What map is this again? Is this Bermuda? This Bermuda
I
is
am
sandy.
just surprised that we had 3 teams drop at Kalahari. I have not seen it ever.
No, I haven't either. But then again, we could be from the wrong region as well,
could,
right? Yeah, this is the good introduction to Thai Free Fire. But
so where did DEWA go? Oh, DEWA is... I think they are already out. Well, we say that them and EVOS Divide share the same drop spot, but EVOS Divide isn't playing yet.
yeah, they're not playing in this this round. We'll see them a little bit later on.
Attack all around and Expand now making contact. And Attack all around, they just came from Refinery and they are already prepared to take on Expand. This is... I mean, I wanted to ask if Expand is ready, but Jump God has somehow made it onto that roof.
I was actually going to ask, literally, is Expand ready? Because I'm not quite sure if they really are. I don't know if they have vision of attack all round yet. I think they do now, at least they do have that, the sounds, the direction of roughly where those bullet shots are coming from. Oh, Cobra actually getting one knock there.
Good punish from Cobra. You really need to get rid of Jump God because he is drawing so much attention from Expand, and he was enabling the rest of AAA to just get these pot shots off.
Yeah,
but with Jump God down, now you kind of slow down AAA, and as Expand, you will be very delighted with that.
Yeah, I think this is just a good call from attack all around. I mean, they could try and go 3 versus 4, but it's just too risky this early on, right? So just back up, just get the revive, just let Expand sort of do their thing. But yeah, as you can see on the map as well, NIGMA, they're right here as well. And we know NIGMA, they've run into Expand in the past. They are not afraid to fight into this team. But it looks like it's Expand that's just saying like, yo, we need to go.
This is a team that I think Expand, you know, are very aware of the fact that they... at least mechanic-wise, NIGMA Galaxy are just a bit more crisp. DEWA United finally out Hawkeye getting their last kill. But from what we've seen from NGX is that they will chase you to the ends of the earth. And Expand, they don't necessarily have the best spot to kind of set up shop. Cobra is already dangerously low, and Expand, they might have to just sacrifice too fast to keep the round alive.
Yeah, Cobra's not looking too healthy. I don't know if he can even fully heal up as well. I saw his health going up, but it's not fully healed. He's also sitting on top as well, so he's sort of scouting for the team. Roy as well, so they've got 2 spotters to try and check out where NIGMA are. So I think Expand, they're in a pretty good spot. They're not too threatened. They're going to be able to at least see which position NIGMA's going to be coming from. But we also did see that the circle looked like it was going to be a rather centered circle. It's not going to be on the edge of the map, so they've got a lot of time to work with. But I do want to see where the next circle is going to be. Is it going to continue in this like centered trajectory towards Refinery, or are we going to be starting to shift towards the side? As we are seeing a fight here with Sem9, which they aren't able to get the necessary shots in. Fikri's doing his best. He will take down that glue wall, but it isn't enough to be able to get that damage in.
They need to start getting these knocks because EA are inching very close. Shut up, taking Raja down. ZNOP will get a trade back. Unfortunately, EA, they just have enough numbers. And another wipeout for EARENA. 5 eliminations so far.
Yeah, Sem9 weren't able to get enough knocks to really make that engagement worth it. So out of the picture again, they're going to have to go back to that thinking board and think, well, let's think about what to do in that next round. But of course, EARENA, we did see this team do fantastic earlier on, although they're going to run into EVOS now. These are the 2 Goliaths running into each other now. If one of these teams get eliminated, this does open the door for the rest of the competition to potentially steal that booyah away.
And if you are in EVOS's shoes, you definitely want to get that wipeout and put yourself in first place. At least having a better chance of getting there. EVOS Phoenix, though,
Oh.
they're gonna get a knockdown early on, but instantly you see that revive. MDH on the other side doing the same. EA in danger. They do not have the numbers to contend with EVOS Phoenix, and Moshi from long range gets Potato. And EA instantly just backs off, run away, trying to get those revive, keep this round alive. Shut Up and August being the last two remaining.
Yeah, so it's just going to be these two. I think it was just a smart decision to say, like, hey, we're going to send this one guy out to get the revive in. Like, we can't just... If we fight here and it goes badly, we're basically out of the picture. So I love the decision to just split, say, all right, we're going to give some bodies away, whatever. As long as we make it to the final circle, that's the most important thing. Now on the screen, we've got NIGMA Galaxy here. Now, they're not in the best position. They're sort of on the outer edge of the circle, and they will have to fight their way through if they want to get into a better position. And it's going to be against attack all round. And this team, they've got a really good player in a fantastic position to spot where they're coming in. So let's see if they can finish the job, or if maybe NIGMA can wrestle their way through.
Yeah, NIGMA is a team that's not shy when it comes to these kind of engagements. They are hardcore aggressive, and look at Stop. He is running out of the building with support with the glue on.
Jump
Unfortunately,
guard.
he gets sprayed up by Jump Guard. He is challenging this head on with that sniper rifle and gets two instead on the way in. AAA not in a good spot. And then GX, they're all trying to brave the blue zone, run into the machine that is AAA. Jump Guard is on the ground, Hoistan going in, trying to look for the finisher. Can they find NGX, who are darting around in this building? Caramel finally put to rest. Kiroro finds that kill, but Dew, he is still kicking, and he is getting the work done. NGX still breathing, still alive. Field God not around anymore, and Dew is the only survivor.
Oh, that was such a painful engagement. I thought a tackle round was actually going to potentially lose that fight there, but they get it. Beautiful grenade. NIGMA Galaxy out of the picture. Attack all around. That was such a good recover. We saw their players go down so quickly, and I thought, like, oh, that's going to be it. They've got one player that's too far away to get the revives in, but the spotter, fantastic job. We're seeing some amazing grenades here, Husky.
And he had no vision. He had no vision, and he was able to take down exact. Raph is also low. EVOS Phoenix here just to pick up a couple of desserts along the way before they eventually get that booyah already, though. On the ground, and AXIS, they are retaliating just a bit, but they need those knockdowns. They need those eliminations, and not getting it done.
Oh, God
Moshi
Cruise.
finally joins the fight. God Cruise is low, but down and not out. AXIS Esports only left with Shahid. Unfortunately, they tried to challenge the world champions, but there's a reason why EVOS Phoenix won that one. And AXIS Esports out in 5th place.
Down to 4 teams here. We've got EVOS Phoenix. We have EARENA, although unfortunately they will lose a player there. We've got Attack all round
It's just
towards
all
the...
Thai teams.
Yeah, well, who's the other team? It's Expand. Okay, so Expand is also there. Although, unfortunately, EARENA, they've got one player left, right? It's Shut Up. He's just sitting in the center. He's going to try and gatekeep if possible, pick up any small kills. I mean, this is really the best you can do, right? You don't have too many options. Although he is right next to where that next circle is going to be. And honestly, he's in a pretty good spot to hide. He's next to all these like bushes and crates. It'll be pretty difficult to spot him out.
And Attack All Around will be the first team to make that move. I think it was Phoenix. They have a pretty decent spot to get that bird's eye view. God Cruise, he's gonna leap right in and actually got tagged.
Where's Expand? I think are they still on the western side of the map? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
they
creeping in. There we go.
I mean, God Cruise, he is very far deep into the circle. He just made it in there. Shut Up is still very much hidden. The Riptide Rhythm, breaking that glue wall. Cobra not really safe. Has to expand a second one. The Exploit just trying to provide some pot shots, some suppressive fire, but at the end of the day, both of them go down. Absolutely punished by EVOS Phoenix. Moshi getting the knock onto EXO, and Malaysian Sniper just does not stand a chance. And look at this guy.
It's just crawling. He's like,
No way.
I'm not here.
Oh,
Then I see him now. There's no way he gets out.
Gets snuffed out, and Jonah goes in for the kill.
Yeah. Oh, EARENA actually goes down before Expand. Pretty interesting here. So now it's going to be down to EVOS Phoenix. There we go. Expand is down. Can EVOS wrap this up? Yep, attack all round. Not enough attack power. That's going to take them out. And that's going to be our first booyah here for EVOS Phoenix.
It feels like it's another day for EVOS Phoenix. It's another day in the
Another
office.
day in the office. Look at this office. Like, look at this comfortable chair. They're like, oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. So already
Coffee on the
actually
table.
didn't play on during the World Series. It was Get High. So now we get to get get a glimpse of already as a player
Of his
on this
jersey.
team. Yeah. And so far, I mean, EVOS Phoenix, what can I say? Just solid performance through and throughout.
Yeah, I mean, they look great. I don't think they really made any mistakes. I love their positioning when it came to that 5th circle. They basically had cover. They were landing all their shots. Was it EVOS that was targeting expand, or was that attack all round?
I think it was attack all around.
It was attack all round. So I was wondering, did they focus more on placements? But I mean, it was just a flawless ending. We didn't see them mess up. They didn't do any silly plays. They just another day in the office.
I mean, we looked at this round. I am very surprised at how aggressive some of these teams are. I know, we say
Should
that
you be? I think after 2 games, you got to be thinking like, oh, this is just normal.
they are speed running the rounds.
Yeah,
That
I
is
know,
for
right?
sure.
It's like they play the game so fast that the circle has to keep up with them.
Honestly, I think that's the case, right? I was telling you that I feel like things are moving very fast, but now I kind of understand why that's so. It's thanks to these teams who are they do not stop.
Yep.
They do not need to take a breather, just run it down.
Yeah, everyone else has to turn their games up to 2 times speed. They're like, oh god, it's too fast, we can't keep up. I mean, it's just 2 games to start the day. We are going to also go for a bit of a group shift, but I think it's safe to say that it was pretty expected for the first 2 Booyahs to go to potentially the 2 strongest teams in the tournament, right?
yes.
So we had EARENA, and then the second one going towards EVOS Phoenix. But we're going to be saying goodbye to them, I believe, because we are going for that group change. So those 2 teams are in Group A. Teams in Group A are going to go for a break because now we're going to be shifting to B versus C. So technically, if you want to think about it, the 2 weaker groups. And this is going to be when some of these teams really need to pick up their points as well, right? Because already you can see here, 14 kills going to EVOS Phoenix, 12 going to attack all round. Whereas in the last round, it was 14-14 for EVOS Phoenix and EARENA. So essentially all the kills are going to the top 2 teams, which means you're leaving scraps for everyone else.
Yeah, and I think if you are any teams in Group C and you just watch that first 2 rounds, you better be mentally prepared, because I don't think there is going to be any space to breathe once you drop onto the map, right?
Someone's gonna have to hook like a gas pedal to their phone and be like, all right guys, full speed ahead, let's go choo-choo. Because this game is seriously going so fast. I actually cannot believe it, Husky.
Yeah, I am so used to having, a lot of 8 teams in the final circle. It's just, slow start, right? You loot up, you rotate.
And then now we're seeing like, what, 5 teams? Sorry, I think it's 4 teams actually for that round.
Even towards the last circle, they don't wait, right? They keep fighting until someone gets the booyah. I guess that's one way to do it. But we are clearly seeing some front runners. I know it's very early for me to say this, but EVOS Phoenix is one of them. Look at this again, 14 minutes. Our average survival time, if to have the entire blue zone close in and end their game, is 17.5 minutes ish. But we're 3 minutes earlier for both game 1 and game 2.
It was so fast. And funny thing as well, right? So EVOS Phoenix, they had 14 kills that round, but they had 15 headshots. So they downed somebody. They couldn't quite finish them off, but there is a bit of a difference as well when it comes to the damage. So I do remember EARENA doing 6,100 damage. So this is the second round. EVOS doing 3.9k, almost. Sorry, is it 3? Sorry, 6.9k, almost 7,000 damage. I think it just goes to show how these 2 teams are.
Yeah,
Where EVOS Phoenix, if they have their game, they go off. They're the ones doing most of the firepower.
I mean, EVOS Phoenix have been running it down for 2 games in a row, right? And I think it's something that they are very confident in executing. You send God Cruz on a Christopher Columbus journey.
Look, his name is God Cruz. Like, he's allowed to go anywhere that he wants, and then he just comes back. It's like, oh, here you go, we'll bring you back.
Yeah, it's either he gets a few points or he gets taken out and they just revive him. Right? At the end of the day, EVOS Phoenix are still one of the most formidable teams, and I think there is, without a shadow of doubt, when the Thai fans are watching, they would expect most of their representatives to make it through to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, think it's almost undoubtedly true that this region is just absolutely terrifying. But for now, we're going to have to say goodbye to Group A, right? Because a lot of the big teams are in Group A. They are going to go have a break. They can have dinner. They can sort of do whatever they want. But teams in Group B are going to have to play their second round. So the next 2 games for Group B are going to be against Group C. This will be their debut on the stream as well. And I'm really keen to see what happens in these next 2 matchups, right? So teams in Group C, they had an opportunity to watch teams in Group A and B. And then how does Group B sort of move forward? Are they going to take the knowledge from the A versus B matchup and try and apply it against Group C?
Hopefully that's the case, right? Because I feel like if you've seen enough, you're gonna get traumatized and you will learn something from it. But all of this would not be possible. We would not be able to breathe without our friends at Snapdragon Elite Gaming when winning matters. They've been with us for such a long time, and the fact that we get Season 2 is amazing. But we also have Monster Energy that allows everyone to unleash the beast within them. So check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And last but not least, if you guys are a big fan of great deals and game top-ups, visit Kachi Shop at www.kachishop.com for the best gaming deals.
Yeah, they got your back if you ever need to have a little bit of kachi in your games.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was very okay, I'm going to stop now. I feel like we're going to go and jump into a bit of a...
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Kachi for the Free Fire Challenge group stage. But of course, to get to that Kachi, we will have to play out the rest of the group stage. For now, we'll go for a short break. And when we come back, we will bring Group C into the fray as we go back onto Bermuda.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
I should probably tell them something that they didn't know. Back then we was down with nowhere to go. Might have been down, but we didn't fall. Now we running it like some intervals. Ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when I come through you. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, give me that crown. I need that now, right now. Ooh, don't make a sound. This is my time. You hear the crowd. Hey, we need that rain. Me and my team. Deja vu. This here a dream. We done all seen 100 times over back when we was just teens. Now we going dumb. Told them we the one. They would count us out. Now we counting up the funds. Now without a doubt, they be throwing other ones. Like they was always rapping. I believe them if you want. Now they show love. Came with a dub. It is what it is. It isn't what it was. They all love to hate when it don't work out. Tell you that they always been down when it does. Look. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top.
You're now watching the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Group Stage Day number 1. My name is Husky. Alongside with me is Diana Lee. And I feel like my caffeine is kicking in, but also partially because we are witnessing all these explosive actions and I just do not have enough time to breathe.
You don't have enough time to breathe. I mean, it's got your blood pumping as well. And I think we've had a fantastic day or at least fantastic matches to open the day. It's been very fast-paced, very action-packed. We basically haven't had a moment to sort of just sit down and think like, oh, how's your day been? You know, we don't have that opportunity anymore. But we are going to have to say goodbye to probably some of the biggest teams that have been the ones that set that playstyle, right? But before that, let's take a look at the overall standings after those first 2 games. Now, before anyone panics, 13th to 18th is Group C. These guys haven't played yet, so if you're cheering for one of these teams and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, they're 0, they haven't played yet, calm down, okay? Yeah. We'll see them in just a second. But the top 12, they have played their games, and already we're seeing EVOS Phoenix sitting at the top of the charts. They have a Booyah, they also got 2nd place. Both games, they had 14 kills, so that explains why they've got 28 kills to their name. And then in 2nd place, we have EARENA, who was the first team to get the Booyah for that tournament, which, yeah, they didn't get top 2 during that 2nd game, but I think they got 4th, which is still a very significant position to be. Then we have Expand and Attack all around, and even MD8 quietly making their way to 5th here. So the middle of the pack towards the top of the bracket is pretty close. It's just a few points away. It's just breaking into top 2 that's the biggest problem.
And I do hope to see if the Group C teams can kind of shake this up a bit, because just based off of 2 rounds, we have 2 clear front runners.
Yes.
And it's a very scary thought, right? Because if you look at EVOS Phoenix and you compare it to first rated Eclipse, that's a 44-point difference off of 2 rounds. That is not normal at all. But of course, we now would have Group C in the fray. Group A gets to take a break and just observe how things will play out. And, this would be our 12 teams for the next 2 rounds. We have EVOS Divine, Farang, Heavy, King of Gamers Club, SCS ALFAINK, and V Gaming Esports.
Yep. Now, here's a bit of an interesting thing, right? So we did have an interview session in that previous round. And DEWA United, they did mention that for them, EVOS Divine is a team that they would keep an eye out, right? Like, this is a team that they think is a very big problem. They shared drop points on Kalahari. They basically said like, hey, don't drop into Mill. This is our place, but it could also be EVOS Divine's place. So I'm really curious to see what's going to be the dynamic between these 2 groups in particular. Like, is the skill gap between these 2 teams much closer? Maybe is it going to be a domination for Group C? Maybe B is the one that's lagging behind, or vice versa. Maybe B is the stronger team and C could be the ones to struggle. But we do have some teams here to watch, Husky.
Yeah, we have Heavy from Vietnam, we have King of Gamers Club, and Attack All Around from Thailand. And of course, for Attack All Around, they are no strangers to any regional events. They were the world champions at one point. So this is a team that I think would get a lot of eyeballs. You know,
Yeah.
we would see KOG kind of debut in this group stage. And I do think if what we've seen just now was how Thai teams normally play, I think KOG would also bring that flavor in.
Oh,
Heavy
yeah.
is interesting though, because I think this team is a team that can match those aggression, but to what degree, that is going to be the question.
Yeah, again, it's just seeing how these 2 groups are going to blend into each other, right? Is it going to be a really strong shot of coffee, or is it maybe just going to be a little milky latte?
Yeah,
is it going to be like a mix between these 2 teams?
Either espresso or it's going to be a depresso.
But if you know what we're going to think about here, who's your #1 option when it comes to caffeine?
It's going to be Monster Energy, because it unleashes the beast within everyone. So check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming and get your daily fixes.
get your daily fix of energy.
Yes.
Booyah! I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things that really gets us pumped. But we do want to remind everyone as well at home, it's not just Monster Year they should be thinking about here, but also what's next for these teams. Now, we've got the grand final that's going to be happening in Jakarta. This is a quick reminder if you missed out on the previous announcement. This is going to be a LAN final happening on the 4th and 5th of February next year. So make sure you mark your calendars because this is technically the next stage for the teams, right? Like ultimately the teams, yes, they're trying to go to the grand finals for this, but it's like you kind of want to go to the LAN.
If you can get to the LAN stage, all you gotta do is make top 12, right? There's no need, well, if you are not worried about aiming for first place, then top 12 would suffice. But again, I've marked that date down a very long time ago. I've cancelled all my plans. I'm not going home for Chinese New Year. I'm going to Jakarta.
You're going to Jakarta. This man's going on holiday again, I swear.
No, you told me that if I travel, I get sick, and I'm currently half sick.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, technically that wasn't me, so I just... Okay, we all have parents. You know how parents are always saying like, oh yeah, this happens. Yeah, I think I have to agree with my parents. Like whenever you travel, you just get sick.
It's the first time I got sick while traveling, so...
The holiday blues.
It feels like it.
Maybe it's recoil, you know? It's like you have too much fun on holiday, so it's just like your body saying like, all right, you're done, you're dead, go relax, you know, just get it back.
No, I'll be fine when Jakarta rolls around. I'll be ready to take another vacation, hopefully.
Another vacation casting free fire. I mean, that's a pretty nice vacation.
It is. I mean, it has been... We have won the award for the best mobile esports game for 2 years in a row. We're gunning for the 3rd year, so if you guys haven't voted for that just yet, vote that esports award because we want to go for the hat trick.
Ooh, speaking of hat tricks, it's time to see how these two groups are going to do. It's Group B versus C, and we're back onto Bermuda. Let's see how these teams are going to do. Where is everyone going to be dropping? And are we going to be seeing roughly the same pace as we saw for A versus B? A versus B was fast, but is B versus C faster, slower, more strategic? Maybe everyone wants to have the blue zone. Lots of questions. We know EARENA does love that blue zone, but is anyone going to contest them for it? I see someone there.
Yeah, I see.
Is that Flash?
The team...
Oh, I think it's one Team Flash in there.
Oh, yeah.
I see one guy has just sort of stuck himself in there.
We see, you know, EVOS Divine this time. EVOS Phoenix are taking a break, but EVOS Divine have already engaged in a couple of scuffle against V Gaming. They've gotten an initial knockdown. One of those aggressive openings, but on the other hand, just like you said, Annie, we have EARENA this time facing off against FARANG, completely catching them off guard and getting the first blood for themselves, getting up Jembal.
Yeah, Jembal, I guess he just didn't get anything at all, so he was just sort of a little target there. Easy takedown, and EARENA, I mean, they're free to sort of take that blue zone. Although FARANG's still there, are they going to maybe try and ambush? We're not going to take a look at them now, but we've got EVOS Divine here. They've got a nice little view here, as long as they can try and get that headshot, but they're not seeing it.
They know that there's one guy from V Gaming behind, just hiding
Oh,
there. What a nade beyond.
Promote this man.
Just
Promotion.
Just knows where to shoot. I mean, this is... I guess we're getting the same start of opening. Oh, EVOS Divine now dropping in the same vicinity as one of the EARENA members. Shut Up is nearby. FARANG still getting fresh at EARENA. Just flying it. Too bad. What was that shot? Onto limit.
I want to see what's going on. I mean, I just saw one of EARENA just sort of fly into two players on the side of EVOS Divine. I think he did go down though. So. I mean, or is that him? Maybe he'll Shut Up that actually jumped in there. He's going to actually lose that fight though. EARENA, 3 players down. They've got 1 person left. It's Prote, and it might actually be a bad place to be.
Yeah, EARENA kind of biting off more than they could chew.
Maybe getting a little too excited after those first 2 games.
Could be, you know, a bit of that overheat. They've lost 2 members so far.
They're on cooldown. They played so good, they got a cooldown.
EVOS Divine actually paying a visit just now, but here the first down, Jembao just completely unaware, out in the open.
That's his second life, isn't it? He just came back, he was like, oh, I'm dead again.
Thank you for ABAX. 5 eliminations for EVOS Divine, too bad. Also expiring. Not a good start for FARANG.
No, it's actually a pretty terrible start. I think we're so used to seeing Farang be one of those teams that either looks for kills or focuses more on trying to get that loot. And of course, we didn't really see them succeed when it comes to that looting game. But we are going to shift on over here to Anxiety's point of view. They are trying to apply some pressure, but very interesting. This is EVOS Divine. It's not going to be a very easy fight at all. And if anything, I'm actually worried that they're just going to be baited into this.
Anxiety, what do you guys have? This is not going to be an easy fight. EVOS Divine have the high ground on Beyond getting spotted out, but your boy, you gotta land those shots. It's not sufficient to take out Beyond, but Anxiety actually have one member on the flank, so maybe this could be the game changer, but they have to make a decision quick. Yan Bindo unfortunately getting basically cornered. The ice grenade is taking him down. SES outfights surrounding Team Flash. Yan Bin's gonna be the first point of contact. Back exposed, time turner, drop down, buying a bit of time.
He's got no glue walls though, so he's sort of stuck here.
SES.
Oh, he's gonna actually borrow the glue walls.
They try to push for him, but in the end, SES ends up finding Bio instead, who tries to help out his buddy, and now Yanbin is truly stranded. Another ice grenade. And he's getting shot from angles he couldn't even see. And finally, SES getting that knocked down. Definitely an elimination secured.
Yeah, actually we're seeing one resurrection already actually. So Flash has brought another player back into this fight. Although Yan Bin unfortunately will be going down here. Anxiety's still going to try and chip away at EVOS, and I mean so far they're not really chipping into this compound. I'm a little bit worried Anxiety's just getting baited in. They're like, they're not fighting back. Maybe they're scared of us? No. They're playing the Venus flytrap strat. It's just like you come in,
just wait for your prey to show up.
Snap.
Shin was able to be brought back up by his buddy. Gotta finish the fight though. SES, can he do this? Unfortunately for G'day, not able to win that fight. A 2 vs 1, swings the corner, goes for the dry peek, but he just could not secure the kill. SES backup has arrived. The cavalry now will try to push back.
No.
Team Flash, Shin is dead. Team Flash is out. SES move on.
Oh, painful. Flash needed some of those lethal shots, but most of them just ended up going into body shots or not landing at all. If they just got one of those knocks, they would have had the numbers advantage and it could have been a completely different situation. But now SES, they just bring back their players and they basically just reset back into this game.
Yeah, it's just very... It's quick and decisive by SES.
Look at Anxiety, they're still pincering EVOS. It never ends up there.
They're gonna keep EVOS Divine at bay. This is definitely a good place for Anxiety to be in, but EVOS, they have an option to kind of cut through Bullseye and maybe fight their way through EARENA or just fight through Anxiety.
Yeah. Another team we should be looking at here is actually in the center. So we're seeing Expand and Heavy, these two teams going into a bit of an engagement, although it doesn't seem like any players have dropped. So it's just more or less a game of tactical peeking, you know, who gets headshot first.
I mean, Expand and Heavy might be the next, the next skirmish that's gonna happen.
Could be.
Heavy is moving away from Expand, also both of them will split up. No contact just yet.
All right, they're just bailing. They're like, nah, we're out. Play it safe. And to be fair, like the center of the map is pretty open, so they're not going to be punished for it. So
Anxiety,
unfortunate.
AXT also started moving away, so EVOS Divine will be safe, just for a while. I mean, I feel like Jaboya has eyes on one of the EVOS members.
I wonder if they're fake backing. They're saying like, all right, if we don't show ourselves, they think that we probably run around them.
Could be. I mean, you're also preying on EVOS Divine's instinct to avoid that blue zone, right? You gotta start running in. They are doing just that, but just gonna rendezvous at this corner. A-back is gonna get shot at.
They got a shop here as well. They can buy some stuff if they want to.
Finally make it into the safe haven in this building, so they have a point to hold out just for a while. Beyond will be the first one to at least make his way out. Just find another checkpoint for them to slowly pass through and avoid Anxiety.
Not gonna lie, I'm really surprised that EVOS just got out of there scot-free. I was thinking maybe Anxiety were gonna try and pressure them or pincer them in so that they're sort of stuck inside the outer circle, but I think they just wanted to maybe focus more on gatekeeping. Although as we can hear a lot of damage being thrown out here by King of Gamers, although Saka did go down. So okay, so DEWA getting that kill.
Yes, good long range shots. Ooh, finally some room to breathe. Get slower again.
Finally time for you to breathe.
It's not gonna last for long though. I mean, EVOS Divine might just end up fighting anxiety again. They're running into the same location, just separated by one freeway. The vehicle doesn't make it any better.
I mean, they're in, so the vehicle's just more or less there for an extra wall if you wanted to use it for that. Or maybe some roadkill, but we don't really see too many of those in games. They're pretty rare.
Yeah, they've gotten a bit
Wrong
more
game.
Rare. It's gotten a bit more rare. You know,
Yeah.
there was, I think, like what? There was one season where everyone was actively looking for kills with vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically when teams were really starting to discover the Misha meta, no? Like, that was the only time where the vehicles were really viable. Other than that, I think most people are just worried about being blown up in their vehicle.
That is correct. Oh, we get this very saturated circle at the dam as well.
Northern circle. Interesting.
And look at anxiety. They are beeline towards the circle, but there are a couple of teams that they need to contend with. So EVOS Divine is one. We see V Gaming somehow. I think that's the respawn, and Vantan just ends up in the middle of nowhere.
Right, so we've got a couple of teams being gatekept here. So EVOS are actually running into EARENA. Now, I think out of all the teams, I'm really favoring EARENA's position because if you think about it, all the teams are coming in from the southern side of the map, right? So anyone stuck towards the bottom section, they're going to have to really compete with everyone else to try and get into that circle. EARENA, though, they just kind of stuck with gatekeeping, or they could, if they want to, just sit down, find a spot, and let everyone else kill each other off. But, so let's see what happens, Husky, because I think we're about to see a lot of action here.
I mean, anxiety have already taken out Apex, and Sam 13 also down to NoHo, putting up a bit of work. Jump God, can he save this though? God Toby actually tries to go for the rush, but ends up getting punished, and now V Gaming shows up, the third party, working absolutely well. DEWA completely caught unaware, and look how the tables have turned. Anxiety are the ones that are out in the open. And unfortunately, I don't think there's any way for them to survive this. Showma is the third to go. Anxiety down to just one member.
He's outside the circle as well, all alone. I mean, that's the worst place to be if you're the final player of your team. You've got no compounds to work with. You got to make friends with the trees if you want to blend in. It's going to be pretty tough. Because you're kind of hoping that the teams are busy fighting with each other, that you don't get spotted. But look at this. He's going to run right behind one of the teams. And there we go. Konoho getting eliminated by Heavy.
Heavy just doing a great job. Both Vietnam teams capitalizing on that chaos. DEWA, they are down one member. EVOS is nearby them, but gotta keep our eyes on V Gaming and Heavies. So far, there is a couple of exchange. Heavy, they will be relying a bit more on that glue wall just to stay out in the open because they know they have to run straight into V Gaming. You also have EVOS Divine shooting at them. Attack all around is also doing the same. Heavy getting pressure from 3 different angles.
It's so chaotic, actually. So EARENA are the ones that's just sort of chilling because everyone's trying to make their way to a more favorable position. The circle is going to go more towards the dam. DEWA Esports will be going down. They were fighting with Expand, who were able to come out of there pretty scot-free. But again, EARENA just focusing here on kills. And we do have V Gaming here. They're going to try and fight for this compound. Heavy is nearby, and Attack All Around are the ones that's going to be gatekeeping that western side of the circle. It's going to be a pretty tough way to get in there because not too many buildings, not too many trees to hide behind. You've got to stock up on glue walls, and look at the glue wall situation for a lot of these teams. You're only looking at 1, 2, none. Uh-oh.
This is we might see a 3-way fight later on at EVOS side, but as ALFAINK, we're gonna deal with EARENA first. Fortunately, they are losing members. They're also ticking down thanks to the blue zone. G'day, last man alive. The entirety of EARENA is surrounding him. He's gonna try and retrieve some of his teammates, bring them back up on their feet. As EVOS Divine, on the other hand, will be left with just Mr. 05 being the last survivor. Can he hold on to the round though? Getting the first initial knockdown, but he does need a bit more. Down to 26 HP.
Can he heal?
Almost clutches it out. But at the end of the day, he might also take out, has to start healing himself. EVOS Divine, though, not able to make it in time, as EARENA, on the other hand, will be pressured by Attack All Around.
Everyone's almost in prime position to go into that final circle. The only team that's really struggling here is now EARENA. They don't have a clear way to go in. King of Gamers is coming in from the bridge, but they do still have to worry about Attack All Around. I mean, they're positioning, they've got the building. It's an amazing place to be. They've got all these walls that they can really play with. And who is it in that southern eastern side of the map? That is Expand. Expand, I feel like this is actually going to be a pretty safe entrance into the circle because the wall is on the right side of attack all round. They don't really have a clear shot of Expand when they come in.
I mean, despite Expand not getting booyahs or a lot of kills, they have been very consistent in keeping that placement point.
Yeah.
It's just a very good outlook for this team. Cobra, 2 knockdowns at once, no confirmed elimination just yet. KOG getting pressure, Roy getting Osaka. As a KOG, they want to make it into the circle. Okay, Roro steals that one away. It's not going to be an easy entry though. EARENA put Tede trying to walk his way in, gets tagged by the Riptide Rhythm. KOG out in 4th place, EARENA out in 3rd. Now we are down to attack all around versus the Expand. This is not going to be easy for Expand, but if they can pull this out, it will be a morale booster. Can they do it though? Too fast, with a couple of nades to work with. Gonna try and take that low ground, skirt around the corners, anticipating the nades, avoid some of those utilities from attack all around, and giving Expand some time to kind of plan that next move, but they don't have much time. The blue zone has completely, the circle has completely dissipated. Attack all around have taken so much space.
Are they really gonna push?
The smoke screens keeping Expand in the dark. They do not know where the members of AAA are. They're tossing grenades. They're trying to flush AAA out. Roy will lead the charge. Charge Buster in hand. Glue Wall lay down as well. First contact against AAA. Glue Wall Melter also lobbed out. Expand. They are losing a lot of ground as AAA are pushing them from all angles. Expand. They need to take this fight right now. They need to accept AAA's invitation to a Drew and try to win it out. Cobra, can he win this one? It seems like that's not possible. Too fast stacks on the line. Fogi is running in, 24 HP, still survives. AAA completely shuts Expand down and gets the booyah for themselves.
I thought this was going to be an economy game because looking at the inventory for these teams going into that final circle, it was all on Expand. They were the ones that had all the glue walls. It was literally attack all round. Going on the attack, they didn't have any glue walls. They were utilizing the environment to their advantage. They were also utilizing Expand's own glue walls to try and chase them around. I was a little bit worried because I think we've seen in the past teams that play aggressive into the defending team tend to get punished. But the way that they approach that end game, and maybe Expand were not expecting that level of aggression coming out from attack all round, thinking that, oh wait, they're actually coming at us. Guys, I don't think this is how we're going to want this game to end.
Yeah, definitely not, right? We saw Expand basically losing space.
They were pushed on the edge of the circle, right?
Yeah.
Like they either had to go in or skirt around the edge and potentially take lethal damage from that circle, right? Because it hurts, especially those last couple seconds.
There's no vision of attack all-around members, right? That one smoke grenade really concealed them so well, and Expand just had no idea how to kind of wrestle back some of these rooms for themselves that they initially had, but because they were just playing the retreating game, attack all-around basically just took over all these free space and got that win for themselves. These 1v1s were just deadly. I mean, so far, all 3 booyahs have gone to a tie team.
Yes.
EARENA, EVOS Phoenix, attack all around. And
a new team every time.
And the formula is getting, getting easier to digest. It's just aggression, and most importantly is how these teams take up space.
Yeah, I think it's being able to control where your opponent's moving as well. I think something that we also need to talk about is the way that the Thai teams are approaching the fights. Like, you can always see them pushing the enemy against something that they don't want to be leaning against, right? Like, they're pushing them against the circle, they're pushing them against a wall, they're pushing them to an area that doesn't have any protection, right? Like, no compounds, you're stuck with trees, it's open ground. So it's just, the Thai teams, they seem so next level, not just in terms of gameplay, but just strategy all around. It's almost like these teams, they've been there, they've done that, so they know how to approach everything.
They definitely have done it. They've won a world championship. You know, we're looking at these teams who aren't just aggressive, but it's very refined, and it is very scary as well because they are just not mindlessly running into you. They run into you with a plan, and it's a plan that you have no idea how to deal with. But with that being said, you know, it's not too bad for EARENA and Expand. They got 15 points each. Of course, attack all around, getting that booyah at 14 kills, puts them at 26. EVOS Divine and SDS ALFAINK getting 13. This is a slightly more mellow round compared to the first two.
Yeah, a little bit more balanced. Not completely balanced, of course, because we've got attack all around getting 14 kills, but at least we're seeing the first 6 teams actually getting a notable number of points. Unlike the previous rounds where it was like 26, 27, and then like 13, 13, 10, 7, 7, 7. Like it was very top heavy in that previous round. So the teams are kind of sharing, just a little bit.
Yep.
And I think it just goes to show how scary Group A seems after that one game. Like Group B and C, it's not so bad.
And we do get a slightly slower game number 3, but we also saw how some teams are just a bit more passive, and they are they were punished. Another game where we have a survival time of under 15 minutes.
Little bit slower,
but I would still consider pretty fast in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, standard Free Fire times, yeah, I think I have to agree. The survival time is very fast. But we will take a look at the damage here. So we had 6.1k for the first game, 6.9k for the second game, and now 6.4. So it just seems like these teams that are getting booyahs, it's just the stats seem to be more or less similar. Like the only big difference is either the headshots or maybe the difference in damage. Like some teams are more precise, other teams are better at stealing kills, and then you have others where it's just like brute forced, okay, everything is ours, you know. We'll do all the damage, we'll get all the kills ourselves. We don't need help.
Yeah. Certainly they do not need help at this point of time. And I think, you know, when we look at the overall standings, at least in a bit, we're going to see that the Thai teams are going to start making their way to the top. And normally
they were migrating north.
They were.
It's too cold down the bottom of the bracket.
I personally am not a big fan of those top-heavy games, top-heavy leagues, but in this case, I think it is an inevitability that we are going to see a slightly top-heavy group stage, but thankfully there are plenty more days to go. This is just day number 1, and we're not done just yet. We just reached the halfway point. But before we continue with more Free Fire games, we will take a short break and we will return for Kalahari.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kalahari.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for 'em. Ha, look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
We've just touched the halfway point for day number 1 of the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Group Stage for Season 2. My name is Husky, and alongside me is Danley. We are going to head back into Kalahari to conclude Group B's involvement in day number 1. But we also have Group C in the fray, and so far it's still a pretty fast game of Free Fire.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. It's definitely a little bit more mellow, right? It's not so top heavy where you're just seeing these top 2 teams taking all the kills. Although we could see a case that maybe just one team sort of takes everything, which we're kind of there. We're halfway, right? Because it's 2 games in the set. So we'll have to see if that happens. But Kalahari, it poses its own problems for these teams. But very quickly, let's just go over the overall standings here. So EARENA, they have pushed their way up into first place alongside Attack All Round. These 2 teams are going to be leading the leaderboard. EVOS Phoenix going to be pushed down to 3rd place. Now keep in mind, EVOS Phoenix, they have only played 2 games, whereas EARENA and Attack All Round, these teams, they have played 3 games so far. So they've got 1 more round to go. And then they're going to lock in their points for the rest of today. Expand is in Group B, right? Yeah, so this is also going to be their last game to at least solidify their position on the leaderboard. And I'm wondering, is it possible for these 3 teams I listed, not EVOS Phoenix because they're not playing, are they maybe going to be able to stay on top of EVOS Phoenix?
Probably for now, right? Because EVOS Phoenix, when they come back, I think that they would.
I think they'll go back to first. Yeah.
It's pretty worrying when you look at the dynamics of all 3 groups. You know, you have Group B as the neutralizer. You have Group C as kind of the open book. But Group A is very, very EVOS Phoenix / NIGMA-ALFAINK heavy. So when they come back into the fray, I think Group C might be facing a big challenge.
I'm scared they'll be cannon fodder. You know, it's like Group C becomes cannon fodder.
I mean, if EVOS Phoenix are willing to send one guy to take out a full squad against Group B, I would not be surprised.
Look, someone's gonna go out there and just take them out. They say like, all right, this team is a menace. Just get them down. You know, take them out early when they're not fully equipped, when they haven't got, they're literally just like killing everyone with everyone else's corpses. You know, you got like Attack All Round's gun, you've got Expand's helmet, there's like pieces of everybody else. You know, it's like it's kind of crazy how they're playing, but Again, you know, it's the final game here for Group B. That's going to be the second game of the day here for Group C. I'm wondering if we're just not seeing the full potential of Group C as well, right? Because again, it's only their first game. Maybe Kalahari is where we see the teams fully warmed up and ready to go, or I mean, it could also just be slow.
I mean, for Group C, they just warmed up their engines, right? They have 2 more rounds after.
Look, Group B are like hot already. They've always finished
Group
all
B
their
are.
games.
Group C, they still have some time. So I think, you know, judging by how they face off against Group B, when we come to the conclusion of the next round, then maybe we can kind of figure out where Group C stands.
Yeah.
So far, I still think that Group B have a very solid grip over Group C, as the teams that did play just now, it didn't seem like they were putting up much of a fight.
Well, I'm just waiting for them to turn the tables. I really want to see it happen, because sometimes we've had these interesting situations where it's I like to call it the great circle of life, right? Where you get this one group, let's just go in a circle here. So you got Group A that does better against Group B does better against Group C, but then miraculously Group C does better than Group A. So we could be seeing a bit of a Lion King moment here, but we'll let the teams do the talking as we do jump into our final game for Group B and our second game here for Group C. It's on Kalahari, who is going to be taking that high tier loot zone, and it looks like it's going to be EVOS this time.
EVOS Divine, just zero hesitation, going straight for Oldhampton. And they answered the question of will they drop the same place as DEWA?
Not this
Apparently,
time.
not this time.
Yep.
We get a circle that is towards the eastern side, and
Oh,
Farang have already
Farang.
lost 2 members and is up against DEWA. While EVOS Divine didn't take on the challenge, but Farang certainly did. Too bad getting it in, trying to go for the initial elimination, actually gets it. But can they clean up DEWA United though? It's still not done and dusted just yet. Farang also down 2 members. It's going to be a fair 2v2. A drop down from Too Bad. Gets the slam dunk. And a third elimination onto DEWA United. But unfortunately, DEWA United is still around.
Yeah, they're not going to be completely eliminated, but of course they are going to try and... Oh, Spade actually... Oh, he's the last one left for his team. He's going to have to try and make this work.
The
Otherwise...
revive.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the revive in, so Rain's coming in. But can they get that finish off? They will. So Farang, they'll win this. Spade doing it for the team. And unfortunately, that means that one person that's come in is going to be naked.
And unfortunately, just... DEWA United almost won that one with Farang getting 2 revives after that attack all around.
I love
though.
the ambush, actually. I think that was a
It was.
brilliant play.
Just at the vending machine, just peeking. Getting ambushed at the vending machine is such a...
Unlikely place to get ambushed.
But I feel like it's a modern day problem, right? Like, like in the real world, there's a chance that these kind of events might occur.
Someone's going to steal your pocket money when you go up to the vending machine. It's like, you wanted a drink? Too bad.
Too bad. Now it's my drink. Unfortunately for Anxiety, there's no cigar this time. 3 members down, attack all around, completely destroying them. Heavy on the other end will be facing off against EARENA. They did get an initial elimination, but they do need a bit more than that. What a nade. We now actually chipping in that final shot, and Heavy might just hand EARENA their very first too soon moment.
Maybe. Although no one has actually gone down aside from Shut Up, but let's see what happens. I mean, EARENA, they are a very formidable team. So far, no one's really been heavily punished. It might actually be Heavy to be punished here as well. They got clear shots on one of the players. They don't quite get him down, but everyone's still looking very healthy here on EARENA. Can Heavy get this knockdown? Limit is basically by himself.
This is not going to be easy for Limit though. He's going to try and challenge this one, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Buddha getting an easy knockdown. Orgus also surrounded. Buffalo and Tom.AXIS going in for the finisher. The last one member for EARENA slipped away into the shadow, so EARENA are still in the game.
Was he on a revival point pro today? I think so. He was pretty far from the team.
I think he is.
Might be. We'll take a peek hopefully and see where he is. But his team did go down. I mean, ultimately, this has been the story for some of these teams, right? Like, they either do terribly in the fight, someone slinks away, and then all of a sudden, everyone comes flying from the sky.
Yeah. I mean, Heavy, some of the players on Heavy have been around for a very, very long time, and Budai is one of them. He's been with Heavy for quite a while. Scepter, Tino, just from a long range, in downtown, taking down Bio. Easy cleanup.
Easy kill. Easy win.
Very easy.
Very easy.
Can you,
especially-
I feel like, you know, now that we have the revival system, it's very hard for me to imagine how did we kind of went through the era of no revival and no vendor machine back then, right?
Well, people definitely played much slower, right? Like it was much slower. People were very cautious when it came to aggressive plays, and then we also saw like the rise and fall of aggression, where teams like they try and play aggressive, but then you fumble the ball, and it's like, oh, okay. At least you got a fallback as well, as long as someone's able to get out of there.
Yeah, the game is extended a bit more, I guess. Well, then
More kills for everybody.
more kills for everyone. You know,
Yep.
Shut Up getting a good kill onto Fantan, and for EARENA, this is a team that has revived the entire squad. But everyone has been revived once, and they are still taking over Santa Catarina. And they actually forced V Gaming to completely just
Abandoned.
just vacate this spot.
Yep, this spot's ours. We are the pirates now. Let's go to Neverland. I mean, it's just free loot for them now.
Yeah, it definitely is. VGM, where do they push up on?
I don't
Very,
think
very split up.
I don't think VGM are pushing at all. It just seems like this team in general tends to just play slower. Like they're not reactive. They're a bit more of a passive team that only fights if they have to.
Yeah, I think generally teams from the Vietnam region are slower and more macro focused. Though,
Yeah.
barring Heavy, I think Heavy is one of the more aggressive ones.
I
Aside
think-
from that, everyone
yeah.
else is just it's a bit slower.
I do agree. I think Heavy has adopted a bit more of that Thai play style. Like they know when to be aggressive. They know when to sort of pull back.
Being aggressive used to just be an optional thing, but I think right now, like knowing how to be aggressive effectively is
Picking your battles.
it's such a plus point. You know,
Yeah.
when you have these revival system, it makes life so much harder for your enemies, and just long range, just a good seeking sensors from downtown. Team Flash not having a good time at all. Now, the fact that they got tagged means that they can't really run in that direction. I believe it was from KOG.
What was from K? Oh, you mean the tag?
The tag. I believe that the seeking sensors was from KOG.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really care though. It's just one person.
It's a ridiculous range. It's that ability, ridiculous range, cripples you, completely debilitating to fight while you're under that debuff. It slows you down. You don't fire as fast. It's a very annoying debuff to have.
All right, so we are looking at a bit of a slower game this time, right? First Kalahari game we had, everyone just sort of dropped like flies.
With
Now
11 teams left, what a surprise!
everyone's brewing. You know, they're making some wine. Wine's not here, but everyone's making some wine. They got to see who makes the best wine. You got to bubble it up a little bit, let it mature. And looks
What?
like EARENA is going to run right into Heavy. I'm actually a little bit worried here. I don't think Heavy mechanically is on the same level as EA.
I mean, Heavy was caught off guard. Limit got
Yeah.
a snipe that caught Heavy completely with the pants down. They were not ready for this. Shut Up is here for the slam dunk. That's the time turn just to buy a bit of time, but EA, they have Heavy completely surrounded. Shut Up will give his life up for this, but it is a trade nonetheless. Orgus will kind of tap in, and then Shut Up will be brought back up. Heavy only down to Buffalo. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is down. Buffalo himself is getting rushed. And look
stuck.
at this double. There's an ego in hand though. The revolver. At least getting a kill for himself, but Buffalo needs to get out of this. Not much glue walls to work with, and 3 angry members of EA running after him. He will have a bit of solace, at least for now, but he will be forced to fight. EA surrounding from all angles, and Heavy will drop.
They will get the punish at least. So yes, they may have lost limit in the process, but at least they managed to get that clear shot. They were able to take down that team entirely. And it looks like a tackle around on the other side of the map. They are heavily pressuring into poor VGM. 3 players are currently down, and there we go. VG Gaming, V Gaming just taken out.
This one grenade launcher. It's 8
Sometimes
eliminations.
that's all it takes, you know. 1 shot, 3 kills. Mwah.
Things are speeding up a bit, you know, 8 minutes in, and what is this? Just Spider-Man on top of the roof. I bet you AXT were not expecting that. They were just chilling. I mean, SCS, they saw that loot box drop, and they were like, it is go time. We are going to scavenge this area and good God, they got rewarded.
I wish we could have seen the player cams. I promise somebody on the team would have jumped. They would just be like, oh my God, someone's here. And then it was just too late. You know, they see stars and that's it. Their team is completely gone. It was pretty funny. you absolutely could tell that they did not expect it. Like their screen shake, they were just like, oh goodness. But it looks like we do have a semblance of roughly where that circle is going to land. So it's not going to be an awkward, not really river circle, that's more like a little pond. But it seems like it's going to be on a pretty interesting flat area, right? It's not on a hill, but you don't really have that many compounds to work with. It's kind of scattered.
Yeah, I just saw Expand also split up. I think Too Fast got knocked out. I mean, while we have just 15 seconds of space, I just want to say that SCS ALFAINK, never mind. Farah just tries to nosedive onto the roof. Unfortunately, it's completely intercepted by Kevin. They just have that nade propped up. Kevin knows this. Good glue wall preemptively placed just to protect himself. But SCS ALFAINK in general is a team that can be aggressive. They have gotten good rounds at the World Series before, and we're finally seeing that side of them. But of course, this aggression was a bit too much for them themselves to handle. And now losing Bara meant that they can't really push on forward.
Are they stuck though? I mean, they've got Ray spotting for the team, but everyone else is just leaving. Maybe they're looting, or maybe they want to. Yeah, I was wondering if it might also be revivals. But here we go, we've got another skirmish here. It's going to be EVOS going up against Attack All Around. But actually, if you take a look at the map as well, we do have EARENA looking to encroach into this fight as well. So it could be a three-way going out here, Husky. But so far, EVOS looking fantastic. Compound currently occupied by Attack All Around, but only maybe for not much longer.
Yeah, Apex, what a swing. Just onto Jump God. It's going to kind of even the playing field a bit beyond getting ambushed from behind, Attack All Around. Go down to just two members. Can they survive this onslaught of not just from EVOS Divine, but EARENA also joining in from long range. And Kiroro, yeah, back is exposed.
Oh no!
Sam 13 getting that snipe. EVOS Divine, 2 versus 1. And Attack All Around, they might just expire. Apex knocked down to the play zone. Foki is not ready to give this up just yet. But Sam 13 is...
There's no way he makes it in.
So far away. I mean, if Foki wins this one,
it'll be a miracle.
He's gonna be the savior for Attack All Around. I mean, it's the battle of who expires to the blue zone first. Sam 13, he's caught out in the open.
Yeah, you don't really have too many places to go. I mean, this is what I said with that circle, right? It's very open. You don't have too many compounds to work with. If you manage to secure one, you're at a massive advantage because what else can you really hide behind? Like cacti don't cover your entire body. So it'll be pretty interesting if Foki's able to get in there. But let's shift on over to Farang, right? A team that we haven't really been seeing too much. They've got 6 kills under their belt, and they are going into that safe zone. The only unfortunate thing, though, is that they will run into Flash. Now, if Flash can gatekeep Farang, that's going to be 3 kills in their pocket. So they are prime in position to potentially take them out. But can they get the shots? But it looks like Shin actually gets shot down here.
And if Flash loses this, then it means that Farang gets access to vehicle.
Yeah.
13 knocked, eliminated, so Attack All Around still survive. Genbao getting tired from long range, but unfortunately it's just minuscule damage. Farang able to bring their members back up. KOG just wiped out by SCS ALFAINK. Team Flash desperately trying to hold on to this area. There's also a buy point as well, but they do not have the resources to bring the members back. Farang though caught just huddled behind this one glue wall. Rage is gonna start spamming them down. That's a yes. Welcome to the free firing range of Kalahari.
Goodness.
They are just absolutely eating Farang for dinner. And there's nothing that Farang could do. Expand suffering the same fate, but in the hands of EARENA, and Roy stands no chance.
Look at that, the open ground. I mean, we're already seeing teams just dropping like flies because they have to make that naked run through the desert. Farang goes down as well. Down to our final 4 teams. And look at SES. This team is blowing up. 13 kills under their belt so far. 12 players still alive. And somehow Foki is still alive. What? Okay, he's dead now.
Yeah, Limit has just found him.
All right.
This is going to be pretty close. EARENA, first one to kind of touch the circle.
Yeah.
SES having a very good round so far. But
now, I do believe Flash is the team that only has 3 players. Everyone else is sitting on 4. So let's see what happens from here on out.
if EARENA can get this, it will be the second booyah of the day. But Shin, no, he's gonna put a stop to that. Orgus knocked down. Shut up, going for the pickup. Ray, he's already rushing forward, but can they make it there in time? EARENA able to rendezvous everyone on the second floor. Nate does connect onto limit, bringing him down to half.
And look at this flash is like, all right, guys, we're just slowly creeping.
But the Riptide rhythm so well done!
Oh!
And the flash, they were not ready for that. The timing is perfect.
Limit.
EARENA is keeping it alive, and now it's between them and SES. ALFAINK, the grenade getting thrown out. Ice grenade, glue wall melter. They're taking out all the defense mechanism of SES. ALFAINK, Bara with the charge buster, finding shut up. Limit takes down to the nade. EARENA might not survive this though. Organs last man alive, and SES. ALFAINK does it. No second booyah for EARENA, and Indonesia now puts their name on the board.
Finally, we're starting to see some of these other teams come up onto the board, take these booyahs away from Thailand. They've had too much. They are engorged on all of these kills. And I mean, you can see that the players, they're super excited, very energetic. Right after that, straight away, gonna be celebrating. Maybe someone going to the toilet, who knows. Some of us play differently when we're busting to go. I know for a fact that I play worse when I need to go to the bathroom. So, that's why I'm not a competitive player. But congratulations to SEF ALFAINK. I mean, these guys had a fantastic game. They had 13 kills, 12 or 13, and there was still 11 players on the field. I mean, they had a heyday. Did anyone even die? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, if they qualify, they get to play on home soil, right? They get to play at Jakarta, so it's definitely something special for them. But this was a team that always had potential, right? They were the first seed going into the recent World Series, but they struggled on that main stage. And a lot of these times were just getting outmaneuvered or getting mech checked by other teams. But it's good to see them kind of showing up a bit, because they had moments of brilliance. We just didn't get to see enough of it.
Well, we finally got to see it, right? So that was a fantastic game for the team. I think they had, I mean, it was a perfect game. They were able to secure a compound early. They were getting a lot of kills on these teams that were just struggling to make it into the circle. I do think in this round it was absolutely a little bit of luck going their way as well, because they didn't have to be the ones to make that naked run through the desert.
Yeah, and you can say the same for EARENA. They started off on very rough footing. Right? They were down to just one player. Limit in particular is able to keep the team alive, and this is one of those moments where inside we're just like, okay,
whoops.
Free Fire is a horror game.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not Halloween, so not 100% in the spooky season. It's actually the Christmas season. Merry Christmas, they say. Here's a bullet to the face.
I feel like you're partially grateful that our current competitive system is everyone is generic. You know, you're not getting all these very flashy models running at your face. But the final moments is perfect. I mean, SES just had everything down to a T. It really felt like EARENA had no way to deal with SES, despite having a compound to work with.
But the compound was a bit of a double whammy, right? Like that was the reason why the team just literally disappeared.
Just could not do anything. All these utilities being utilized. SES ALFAINK so far has set the record for most points garnered in a single round.
Most kills as well.
Most kills as well. 29 points. But EARENA, you know, judging by such a underwhelming start to the round, they finished second with 20 points.
They make the comeback happen. They even got 11 kills under their belt as well. I mean, this team, they know how to come back from that brink of elimination. Just absolute top class of a team, and I think this is a great way to end the day as well, because we have to remember EARENA, they're in Group B. This was their final game of the day. I think if anything, if you're able to remain consistent, which they have, this is absolutely a top 3 team. If anything, I think EARENA high contention for top 2. Top 1 could be questionable, it sort of depends.
Yeah, but well, is this the last round for for the teams of Group B, right? So EARENA, Attack All Around, I believe Team Flash, Anxiety, DEWA United, and Expand. They can kind of close up shop for the day. And we're gonna bring Group A back into this, and this is where we really get to see the discrepancy. Like, how is there a big gap between A and C, or maybe it's gonna be closer? But we gotta take a look at the team that got the booyah just now, SES ALFAINK, and currently the best team from Indonesia.
Look at
just
the
an
damage.
Absolute brawl, just decimating the entire battlefield. 40 minutes of non-stop action from SES ALFAINK, just mowing down every single enemy they see.
I mean, this is probably the perfect way to describe a team that's just run and gun. You know, you go in, you're getting all these shots, you're getting all the kills. I mean, they only got, 4 more kills, I think, than the highest average up until this point. And they've already managed to bump up their kills by about, I want to say, 2,500.
Yeah. This is, and sometimes when you have these kind of rounds where you are just in the flow zone, you are just running through every team, and it could be those rounds that give you an edge, right? Moving down the group stage, but no, it happened on the fourth round of day number 1, so there's plenty more to come. But if we've already witnessed this from a team like SDS ALFAINK, I think down the road we will get more chances to see them do it again.
Well, we've still got 2 more games to go. So if anyone's out there thinking like, oh, are the games done? No, we still have 2 more to go. So we are going to let the players prep and get ready for this next upcoming matchup. It's going to be Groups A versus C, and we also have to say goodbye to Group B because they are done for today. But before we go for our quick break, we do want to give a quick mention to our wonderful sponsors. Firstly, to Snapdragon Elite Gaming for putting this tournament together. This is Season 2. This is the 2nd time that we've run this, and if it wasn't for them, we would not be nurturing all the talent in Southeast Asia. It's a very prestigious thing to actually be a part of this. And Husky, who gives us the most energy?
Monster Energy. Unleashes the beast within us, so check them out. www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And if you guys are a big fan of good deals and gamings alike, check out Kachi Shop. Great deals and good game top-ups at www.kachishop.com. Just get that kaching, get that money in. I'm not
You don't have
prepared
it
for this. I have nothing for this, but I will come up with something because we will get a couple minutes of breather. And when we come back, we will bring Group A back into the battlefield and see how they fare against Group C.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Straight up like, wait, who us now? What you gon' do when we pull up on you like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when I Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, give me that crown. I need that now, right now. Ooh, don't make a sound. It's my time. You hear the crowd. We need that rain. Me and my team. Deja vu. This here a dream. We done all seen 100 times over back when we was just teens. Now we going dumb. Told them we the one. They would count us out. Now we counting up the funds. Now without a doubt, they we throwing other ones. Like they was always rapping. I believe them if you want. Now they show love. Came with a dub. It is what it is. It isn't what it was. They all love to hate when it don't work out. Tell you that they always been down when it does. Look. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Challenge Group Stage Season 2, day number 1. My name is Husky, alongside Dan Lee, and we have 2 more rounds to go back to the final rotation of Bermuda and Kalahari. So wave good night to Group B, and we bring Group A back to take on Group C.
And I think the question that we're sort of asking ourselves now is it just going to be Group A to consume Group C like they did with Group B, or are we going to actually see Group C bite back and say that, okay, it's not just Group A, we also have some pretty top contenders in that group.
Hopefully that is the case. We saw SCS ALFAINK kind of pull out a very impressive round, and that was against Group B. Maybe if they can replicate similar success against Group A, then we would have kind of the savior for Group C. But for now, EARENA stands at the top with 74 points. Attack All Around in second with 69 points. But these 2 teams have concluded all 4 rounds for today, so it's not a definitive picture of EVOS Phoenix's capabilities yet. They will prove themselves. They have 2 more rounds to do so, but this is the standing so far. We are seeing some very distinct frontrunners and some teams who are already kind of struggling on day 1.
Yeah, it does seem like that's the case with some of these teams. So I think we've got to talk about the first contender, the team that we think that's still going to maintain that first place, right? Is EVOS Phoenix. After 2 games alone, they were able to accrue 49 points. Now, assuming they have the next 2 games end in roughly the same fashion, so it's about 20-something kills, they're going to easily take first place away from EARENA.
Yeah, and if you look at the average points that EVOS Phoenix got per round, they're it is definitely not
It's 24,
difficult.
25 actually.
Not difficult for them to land 100 point by the end of the day, right? That is actually
Yeah.
possible.
I think it is possible.
It's EVOS Phoenix.
It's
So there's definitely possible, but of course, we again have to wave sayonara to Group B, and now we get to look at Group A back in fray. If you guys are wondering who Group A consists of, these are the teams: AXIS Esports, EVOS Phoenix, First Raider Eclipse, MDH, NIGMA Galaxy, and last but not least, Sam9.
Yeah, so I think like, we got to point out some of the big front runners that we're sort of looking at here, right? So for Group A, of course, it's going to be EVOS Phoenix, but would we actually say NIGMA Galaxy is sort of a big team? Like we didn't see them shine, but they were absolutely present in those first two games.
I think NIGMA Galaxy is still one of the big contenders, but this is definitely, you know, a slower start for them. So I think it's a bit uncanny, but we have seen moments when NIGMA Galaxy absolutely popped off.
Yes.
That's why they are one of our featured teams. Keep an eye out for NGX, keep an eye out for Sam9, and of course, who can forget the team that just scored a massive booyah, SDS ALFAINK.
So many points for this team. It's actually ridiculous. It'll be pretty interesting to see if they can actually pull off a repeat win in this next round with the same number of points, right? So it was 18 kills. It was a lot of kills.
It was 29 points, so it's 17 kills.
17 kills plus the booyah.
Yeah.
Can they pull it off again with some of the teams that are currently in the group? I'm really keen to see it. I'm excited. Another thing we also need to keep in mind is that both EVOSs are going to be in this grouping as well, right? So we've got Phoenix, we also have Divine. I'm curious to know if these two teams are possibly scrim partners, because you would assume that being sister teams that you'd probably clash at some point.
Yeah, I think that definitely it could be the case. The most interesting part is that EVOS Divide didn't even make it to the world stage this year, at least for the most recent one. So I think Indonesia as a scene itself has evolved. We get so many contenders. In fact, SDS ALFAINK was the first seed, and its second seed was actually RRQ Kazu, and they barely squeezed into the finals, right, with a 2-point advantage over Expand. But before we delve into all this nitty-gritty history, that we gotta thank our partners for even giving us the space and the platform to talk about all these stories. Snapdragon Elite Gaming, when winning matters, because I'm just grateful that we've been here for 2 seasons.
I think the teams are grateful that they've been able to play this for 2 seasons as well. Like it does multiple things. It's a training ground. It's a way for them to polish their ability. And if you think about it, teams that play here are going to pass down their knowledge to teams that might not be playing in the tournament, but they're scrimming with them.
It just makes the off season so much more productive for some of these teams, right? And this tournament,
it helps the ecosystem. That's how I sort of see it with these tournaments. Like, yeah, not everyone's playing in the tournament, but if you scrim against a team that is, you're also learning something.
there's more chances for you to kind of try out, right? To kind of give it a shot and see if you can make it. Just improve along the way. And of course, the pinnacle of the challenge stage is Jakarta. The finals for this tournament is going to be happening on 4th and 5th of February 2023. We're 3 months to this. Actually, well, less than 3 months to this date. So
it's actually 2 months if you think about it. It's early February. It's already like what, the beginning of December?
Mark it down in your calendars. Cancel all your plans on that date. Nothing is more important than Jakarta. So just be there or be square.
Be square. But of course, before you be square, I hope you're loading up your guns and your bullets, because we're about to jump into our 5th game of the day. Game 1 for teams in groups A versus C. Is it just going to be the same old teams flexing on the competition, or are we going to be seeing a new name pick up that booyah? Because so far for today, we have not had any repeat booyahs. We've only had teams pick up a single booyah apiece. But I think this round in particular probably has the highest probability of seeing a repeat.
EARENA came pretty close, shut
Very
down
close.
towards the very end, but I agree, Danny. I think we these last 2 rounds we have a high chance of seeing a repeat. I mean, EVOS is a team that is very, very prone to getting repeat booyahs because of how they were just ahead of these all the teams that they played against. We've given a lot of praise to these teams, but I kind of want to zone in on MSP. In general, right? One of the featured teams was Sam9. And Sam9, when they played the Open Finals, they had a slightly different roster. A roster that they acquired from GeekFam. But strange thing is, and comically funny to a certain extent, was after the acquisition, the performance kind of went downhill a bit. And right after the Open Finals, they became the invited team. And right now, they had that roster change. 3 players left, 3 players joined, but those players were ex-Sem9 players. And so far they have been struggling.
It sounds like a game of musical chairs so far with the team.
It is. It definitely feels like it. But the first 2 rounds, we didn't see much presence from Sem9. They were getting mowed down.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who took them down. I don't think it was one of the front runners. I think they just lost against one of the middle contenders. But it does seem like the team sort of struggled with their identity, right? Trying to figure out the playstyle that suits the team in general, the players. Because for you to change three people, like you're kind of playing with the new roster.
Yes. And that was kind of off of the back of a major performance that during the 4th major of MCPS that didn't go there. They didn't even come close to being contenders for the World Series, right? And right after that, they went to a roster change, coming into this as an invited team. That really does feel like Sem9 had a lot to do, but very little time to kind of bring it together. I think they announced the roster like, what, 1 week before our group stage.
Yeah.
So it's a very
short period of time to practice.
Yeah, a very tricky situation to be in. So I do think that we are not going to see much of Sem9 at least for the first week. But hopefully as the week goes on, we get to see them put up a fight. Because so far, they are getting eaten up.
Or they prove us wrong right now. They got 2 more games. I mean, who knows? It could be a miracle round. They get, like, let's be realistic. There are going to be cases where teams are just going to get lucky, right?
Yes.
Like the circle just lands right on top of them. They're in a really nice compound and they just shoot everyone else down and that's it. Right, like it just sometimes it does happen. I think the more famous ones being Purgatory, but no water circles today because that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, if anyone wondering, we're rotating the map. So today's been Kalahari and Bermuda. Tomorrow is going to be the pretty interesting one. It's going to be the water circles and Purgatory, and then we do have the craziness of Alpine. I think that's the thing I'm also looking forward to. Alpine is just such a weird map. It's
a lot of teams have taken a liking to it, especially MCPS teams, like our region. Expand loves Alpine.
But they're not playing here, so we can't mention them.
Not playing yet. Well, they're done for the day, right?
But then again, I know Expand do like Alpine as well.
Yes, they love Alpine a lot. We'll see that tomorrow, right?
Yes.
We have a surprise. No, they might surprise us tomorrow. We'll see though. Group A against Group C. This is what I want to witness. I want to see in a way how big the gap is between these 2 groups, or maybe it is just me overestimating. You know, like I could be wrong. I could be just overassuming.
I mean, we could just position ourselves on Pride Rock. We could just be seeing the circle of life. Sometimes it happens. But this is pretty interesting though, Huskies. So we've actually got 3 teams that have decided to plop themselves on this island.
And Sem9 is in probably the worst spot out of all 3 teams. At least you have Raja on scouting duty. And this has been his role ever since he joined the team. And that was back in GeekFam, right? I remember his debut. His debut tournament, he got the booyah for his team by being the sole survivor. But he's also kind of just that neutral point for the squad. He's not the most outstanding player, but he can kind of hold it together.
He's so close. I don't know. I'm a bit nervous for this guy. I'm not even the one playing.
I mean, Sem9 are making a lot of noise. Raja is holding put. Like, there's a lot of info being relayed to the rest of the squad.
He's gone back to the team now. But I don't think anyone spotted him. So
thank goodness.
He just gets out free. I mean, he just looted it for free. Oh, super lucky. Wow.
Very, very crucial for him to get out. But EVOS Divine will just found FR. And there's nothing the Lozzie could do. Completely alone.
Rest in pepperonis. Although there is a team coming in from the top side there, Husky.
Yeah, Speed Gaming on the horizon. EVOS Divine. There's only 2 members here at Katalistiwa, but if they can get those isolated fights, there is a good chance that they stop this assault right now.
Bingsu showed himself. Oh.
The GlueWall just to cover up that potential peak angle.
Grenade. Oh, it doesn't land.
They're really rushing him. Bingsu is kind of getting trapped up there. Here's the GlueWall. He's trying to call the rest of his team in, and if he can buy time, maybe they could end up punishing EVOS Divine. Mr. 05 getting challenged. Turns the corner. Is a crossfire from V Gaming, but ABAC still around. He's tagging He's lighting them up on fire. Barney is gonna go down. ABAC still pretty healthy, running around the building, and now he might get those isolated fights. Bingsu doesn't have much utility to work with, no health, no medkit to keep himself alive. The grenade getting thrown up.
Oh my
A
goodness.
peek from ABAC. Now he also sees Van Tan glue wall to buy a bit of time. ABAC has no glue wall and doesn't have much ammo to work with. V Gaming really want to shut this show down right now, but ABAC is keeping himself alive just for a bit longer. Thankfully, Van Tan kind of saves the round.
But look, Mr. Five is actually going to be coming into this, and he goes down as well. He was hoping that he would maybe be able to get those pistol shots in, but just no can do, unfortunately. And we are going to be shifting over here to MDH instead. We're currently sitting outside the circle, but what are these shenanigans, Husky?
I mean, be honest, yeah, he is done.
Right.
Sam 13 knows it.
Sam's like, I'm out, guys. I'm going to revive you again. We'll try again next time.
KOG has been knocked out, I believe. Yeah, they have been eliminated by MDH.
Pretty interesting, actually. I was expecting King of Gamers to play better.
I think it's also because of where they drop, right? They were right on the edge of the cliff. It's either the ocean or MDH.
Okay, I think
Uh-oh.
Boy was trying to see if he can catch up to Sam there, but he isn't going to find anything. Now, we'll be able to see what some of the other teams are doing here. So Farang are going to be sitting nice and comfy on the edge of that circle. Heavy is on the outer side, and they could be gate kept by Farang if they're able to get spotted. I think Spade has seen them, so Farang are pretty aware that the Vietnamese team is here. I'm wondering, what do you even do if you're heavy? Because you're kind of stuck here. Like, I think you got to move.
Yeah, I think you got to start with eliminating the flank. And then the guy's going to be Gembar. He has just revealed himself by taking a couple of pot shots at the heavy members. And
if heavy knock him down here, that's actually going to be a free kill because no one's close enough to get a revive.
They're trying to rush him, and you can see that Gembar knows it. He is trying to get away. But
he's baiting.
Yeah, he's going to beeline towards him. He has a glue wall to work with, but the Fire members are not in a position to back him up. Spade gets sniped in the meantime. Jembao left out to dry. The support is not there.
What is going on? And it was heavy that actually got the knock onto Farang. That is bizarre. It should have been the other way around. It should have been Farang to get those knocks on the heavy. Oh my goodness! If I was Farang, I think I'd be pretty disappointed with how that all sort of turned out. I can see the concept, right? You have that one person go in as bait. You flush them out because they get excited, thinking that they get the kill. But heavy, they just played it fantastic, and getting that knock on the spotter, super important.
And the best part is that they were aware of where Spade was. They even got the elimination on him.
Yeah.
The rest of Farang, they are just gonna
They're bailing.
bolt out of there. This is not a fight that they can win.
Just go, you know, just get in that circle, just leave. Man, Heavies will be so happy with that. So happy with how that fight went, though. Like, they've got free reign on this compound. They're just going to continue looting to see if they can upgrade anything or at least pick up some better stuff. Because it's just the first circle. I mean, it doesn't hurt. You're going to be able to heal through it, so it's really not a big deal.
We're getting a pretty sick circle. Clock tower in the center. That's where... Oh, I want to say that's where X-Men likes, but they're not there.
They're not there this time. They're not playing.
Sam Knight has been pretty quiet. Just chilling in Rimnam Village.
Well, I mean, that's what we sort of saw with the team for the first 2 games of the day, although we are going to be seeing some action here. So SES are going to be stopped dead in their tracks as Jojo actually gets knocked down in that fight as well. They don't really have any way to cover for Jojo. Oh, that's not the glue wall. Has to use 2s.
Yeah, he wasted 2 glue walls, and that is a lot of time being wasted. We set up a bonfire, a campfire, and unfortunately I think this is light stuff for SCS unless they can pull up a miracle. So much ice grenades. I mean, First Raiders finally putting their names on the board, getting some action going, and they do have the numbers to work with. SCS. ALFAINK doesn't stand a chance.
No chance for that back-to-back booyah for the Indonesian squad. Very unfortunate. I think the Indonesian fans will be pretty upset with that one, but great play there coming in from FR. I think they just did a fantastic way of just flanking. They covered all angles. They couldn't really move. SES were pincered inside that building, and they just converged on them and were able to get that pickup. We are going to switch on over here to NIGMA Galaxy, who have actually run in and are engaging into MDH. This should be a pretty easy pick, and yeah, they even get the team elimination. So that's going to be 4 kills for NIGMA Galaxy. Well, just pretty easy.
Yeah, MDH tried to at least, you know, cut that point by 1 by expiring to the blue zone, but NGX is not going to let that slide.
Yep. Not at all. I mean, they're 4 kills, Husky. All those 4 points matter, especially if you're trying to make it to that top 12. Looks like Heavy's going to be making their way towards that center of the map, actually flying right on top of VGM, actually wanting to share Katalisua for a bit. But
they are surrounded by VGM members. I don't know if Heavy knows that. But VGM certainly does.
I think they would have seen them actually fly in. Yeah. I mean, they're coming in from the top. So there's 1 knock. I think this is going to be bad news here, Husky.
Buffalo is down. They need to at least secure a flank for themselves, secure a perimeter for them to work with. And of course, they would try to get rid of Untune, but this guy has so many glue walls. Does he still have any? Ooh! And there's a nade! He put a landmine right there! He was waiting Heavy to walk right into it. This guy is an absolute master at guerrilla warfare. Heavy just walked straight into the death. What a play from Vantan.
Did I just see? Oh my gosh, that was brilliant. That's a highlight right there. I'm calling it. It was a highlight. Next level play.
He has 17 medkits by the end of that.
It's like, I will never die now. Never. But wow.
Who would think of that? I honestly did not expect him to have
a landmine?
Yeah.
Well, something I've noticed, or at least with our region in particular, we don't see many teams really utilizing landmines. Right? Like
it's pretty situational, right?
It is pretty situational. I think for them, or our region at least, like grenades are more valuable, ice grenades are more valuable. It's like everything else except for landmines and vehicles seem to be popular within our region. But I am glad to see teams sort of prove that, hey, these might not be good in your region because it doesn't fit your meta, but they have a use.
They do. That's why they're in the game.
And you surprise people with them, and there we go.
We rarely see smoke grenades, but we did see the application by attack all around.
And it was perfect.
And it was perfect.
You got to utilize every tool given to you.
VGM, they are on a roll right now, and they have effectively kind of split the battle line of EVOS Divine. Now he's more of capitalizing on that. Sam 13 is kind of run after the members of VGM. Those grenades, what a flank. Boite knows exactly where to look. Beyond is out of this fight. VGM is still going. ALFAINK, prone down. Oh, does Binsu notice? He guesses right. ALFAINK getting challenged. The Blues are pushing in. Binsu wins that one. What a jiggle from this guy.
That was beautiful. I saw that crouch from Binsu. That was beautiful. I love seeing people try and go in for those kinds of jukes. It just really catches people off guard. So EVOS Divine are going to be taken off the map. We're down to 6 teams left, which, I mean, this is probably one of the rounds where we've actually seen the least number of teams making it this far.
Yeah, actually, yes. I mean, we wanted to see like when we talk about how the Vietnamese team generally are slower, so it's good to see VGM kind of turning that gear up a notch. EVOS Phoenix. Oh, they're here. You want to get Bias back up? Guess what? God Cruz is ready. Special delivery. Almost catching both Gem out and Bias down, but he has 8 more glue wall melter, double glue wall melter. Okay, doesn't want to let them build a wall, I guess. Now ice grenade. Yeah, they're in a world of pain. God Cruz is like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm done. Yep, just run straight up. That's 1. That's 2. Farah, no chance.
They probably knew that they were going to die anyways, but they're just going to say, we're going to make it really tough for you.
I mean, look at the other 2. I mean, they're also in a watchtower.
It's fine.
Jonah found them this time.
Well, actually, watchtowers are pretty nasty traps, right? Like, we always see people using them, but then if you get caught out with a grenade potentially, or someone rushes you, you don't really have anywhere to go. Look, if Jonah's able to 2v1 this, you got to stop using those towers.
There it is.
FARANG. Both players from both towers.
Just they did a 2-2 split, and they basically took different watchtowers. So
they're traps.
They NGX were able to pick off already just now, so they do have that numbers advantage. It's a 3 versus 4 in favor of NGX. Dude just got a snipe. Oh, he's on a first Raiders. What a nade! God Cruz just does not miss. Second one, that one blocked by a glue wall. But the members of NGX, they can't really provide backup. Kind of held back. Caramel gets sniped by Moji. Where did this guy shoot from? NGX thought they had a chance, but it's against EVOS Phoenix, my guy.
We're almost starting to see the repeat around these towers, right? Like, if you just, even if you just stand under the watchtower, you're asking for these teams to come at you. But look at this fight here, Husky. It's actually VGM versus Sem9, and everyone is so close to each other. VGM 2 players going it down. Is it going to be enough for Sem9 to grab all 4 players, 12 kills under VGM's belt. Maybe it's going to come down to Boyde to try
behind
and
him.
redeem his team. His team's going down, but Husky, is it possible? Can he wipe them?
Can Zen do this though? It's a 1 versus 1.
No!
Oh, he blew himself up.
Shut down.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
gosh!
Decided to just commit seppuku, I guess. Just took himself out.
The stress was too much.
Sam9 just barely scraping by.
Oh,
With-
they almost had it. They're so close.
So close. NGX not in the same spot that Farang was in. It's actually Lozzy. It's right opposite stop now.
Scott can't go anywhere. I mean, he's got 2 clue
Who's
force.
gonna break first?
Or maybe it's just a truce,
I like
you
how
know?
EVOS Phoenix is just chilling at the edge. So he's like,
Uh-oh.
alright, oh, you can take over. Well, Sam9 shows up and now everyone is in danger. Now who's gonna cave first? This is gonna be stop or Lozzy. Well, NGX had duel right there.
Oh.
Lozzy he really is fishing for this stop. Just jumps out. Lozzy
NGX!
falls off the watchtower.
Oh.
Oh no, into the hands of Raja. FR Eclipse getting completely tricked.
Oh goodness, down to our 3 remaining teams in the circle. Looks like it's going to be right next to NIGMA Galaxy, and we even have EVP nearby as well. Sam9 are going to have to make that really long walk, and unfortunately, it's very open.
Oh yes.
So it's going to be very difficult for them to make it through. NIGMA Galaxy, they're almost losing stop. So close.
And
Oh,
tried
but
to help him. He jumped on top of his glue wall. That was not supposed to happen. Now EVOS Phoenix have a chance. You did talk about that repeat booyah, and I mean, you
Very
tried,
possible.
Raja, you want to run out like that into EVOS Phoenix? No chance at all. Zen OP can't hold this together. Not against the world champions. And EVOS Phoenix, second booyah of the day, second booyah of the group stage. That's a phenomenal performance.
Look, if there was a team to do it, it was EVOS Phoenix, right? They proved in the first 2 games that they were able to secure almost 50 points in 2 rounds alone. I don't even want to know how many kills they got for this round.
I think 15, 16.
It
Was
was,
it?
look, if it's 14 again, I would probably lose it because so far they've gotten 14 for every round.
I think it is very possible. I think they got more than 14, but I mean, EVOS Phoenix is.
If I'm not mistaken, was it SES that actually had enough? There was a team that we were looking at that actually had quite a few kills under their belt.
17 for SCS.
No, not the previous round. There was one team in this round that was leading in terms of kills. I think they had like
VGM.
12. Was it VGM?
Yeah, it was VGM.
I want to see how many kills we actually got for first place. I don't think it's 14.
I don't think either.
No, I think it's definitely
it's-
less this round.
Oh, you think so? I think it's more than 14.
Well, you think they got more than 14?
I think so.
I think less. I'm thinking 12.
No, we'll find out
We'll
in a
find
bit.
out a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but we have some incredible highlights for this round. I mean, I think VGM definitely kind of stole the spotlight.
Yes, they did.
This sequence is one of the best plays I have seen.
Oh, this is brilliant. I have to see this again. Look at this. Ready?
There it is.
Boom!
No one would have saw that coming.
Beautiful. I mean, no one expects them to even exist. It's like, oh, this is an item. Beautiful. But yeah, we're seeing VGM, they're just racking up those kills. Like, they're 9 here. EVOS. Okay, so there's 4, 5, 6. I'm sticking to my guns. I think it's 12.
Okay, maybe to me it felt more than that, right?
Well, I mean, I don't blame you. For all we know,
Alright,
it could be
so-
19, so we don't actually know. VGM 12. I
think they got,
it's
like-
EVOS.
Honestly, this was way closer than I thought it would be.
Yes.
So they ended this with, I think, like 13, 14 kills, and it really came down to just 1 versus 1 where like I think VGM just cracked at the very last second.
Yeah, I think they did as well. All right, so I'm 9, 13.
That's 15, right? So he took down Raja. and
Yeah,
Zen.
I think, yeah. Hang on, is that, there's 14? Yeah, it should be
Yeah,
15.
that's 15.
Yeah, so 15. So that's actually 1 more than their average.
Yes, it is.
So, yeah.
27. They are on their way to hitting the 100-point mark by the end of the day.
I kind of feel like they'll miss it by a bit.
Just by a bit. They
They need like 30 something points if they're gonna get 100.
now they they started this round with 49. Now they get 27, so that's 76 points.
Yeah, so you kind of need another round like
24.
this.
Yeah, they did another 24 points, so a booyah and 12 eliminations.
I'm a bit worried though, because every time we see a team that pops off in their days, they sort of like just have that one game where you're like, oh, what happened?
I feel like EVOS Phoenix is probably not that team. At least not for today, right?
They shouldn't be, I think, unless they run into someone like NIGMA Galaxy early.
Yeah.
And both teams are just not really well equipped. So it comes down to skill rather than what you have.
I'm slightly worried for AXIS Esports. This is the
Yes.
second round out of all the 3 rounds they played that they went out with 0 points. So this is very worrying for AXIS Esports, and it's the only team in I believe it's the only team overall that had an import, right? It's RAF from Indonesia.
Yes,
It's so far underwhelming. EVOS Phoenix, 14 minutes. We're getting 14 minutes survival time for the entire night. I mean, they are making the broadcast end faster.
Well, for all we know, if the game lasts for 15 minutes, then you know it's a slow game. That's what
We have set a new benchmark, right? Because we are so used to
standards, sir. Standards.
We're so used to running out the clock, and right now, like these teams, they don't even wait for the game to end it.
Okay, so I do want to mention we have some pretty big stat differences here, right? So the first time EVOS popped up on the leaderboard, I do believe they had about 6,900 damage.
Oh yeah.
So just to get one extra kill, they're doing 8,800 damage now. It just goes to show how influential they are in these fights. Like, they're not sitting there stealing headshots, but they're the ones doing most of the damage and getting that final shot.
They're just dumping utility, right? It's all these nades. They are taking out glue walls.
I think mechanically they just seem to be above the competition as well. Like, they're landing more of the shots. They're getting most of the crucial hits in. That's also probably another reason as to why they've been so consistent, right? Like, they haven't been punished for any mistakes because they haven't made any.
And it's hard to punish them because you just get mech checked, right? And this is a team that is that performs very well under pressure. That's how they kind of won the World Championship. They're very good when they're having a good day. So far, EVOS Phoenix are having a field trip. But we still have one more round to see if that trend continues for EVOS Phoenix. We're going to take a short break and we will come back and conclude the evening on Kalahari.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
I gotta get it, dime on the mission, snap any minute, casually winning. Stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me. Yeah, I got a dream, can't take it from me. My fire's burning, now I'm always learning. Tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey. Yeah, I can't explain it, I get excited. Keep it 300, King Leonidas. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard
to get here.
It's the final round for the Snapdragon Free Fire Challenge stage, Challenge Group Stage day number 1. The night is ending, but not just yet, because we still have one more bout in Kalahari between Group A and Group C. Of course, I'm Husky alongside Danley. So far, EVOS Phoenix have been incredible, scoring their second booyah, and you're looking forward to see if they can score, get that hat trick.
Well, I think they can. Like, the possibility of them being able to score that the magical trifecta, very possible. It just seems like they are above the competition. It's almost like they're on their own level. And everyone, there might be a couple teams on the cusp of joining them there, but after seeing the performance today, I don't quite feel, oh my gosh, one round and they're already in first place.
I'm telling you, there's a good chance they make it to 100 points.
I love how you say, like, it's a good chance they'll make it to 100.
Right, they
but I
will.
think, look, the most important thing here is that they're probably guaranteed a spot in the grand finals already.
What? Yes.
I think
Absolutely.
it's very possible
Yeah.
already. So EVOS pretty happy with themselves. I think they've locked their position. If they get first place for the group stage, it's pretty good too, because $30,000 dues.
And okay, I don't want to say I don't want to make everyone sad or feel despair, but EVOS Phoenix just won almost $600,000 a week ago.
Yep. This is just pocket change. You're like, $30,000. Okay.
Yeah, this is crazy. I just won more than half a million just a week ago, and now they're in a good spot to contend for almost more. Right? There's a chance that within 6 months they earn $1 million. Never mind, I'll keep them.
Look, if you can win the money, just keep winning the money.
Just
like,
keep winning the money.
Don't give anyone a chance, Well, you still have it. Just keep doing it. But I do believe we're about ready to jump into our next game, Husky. But before that, we do need to make a quick mention of our amazing sponsors for putting the tournament together.
Yeah, Monster Energy unleashing the beast within everyone that consumes it. I can attest to that because I have done it many, many times. So check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And I just want to put it out there. They have this very cool cap for the can that turns the can into like a kind of a bottle.
Oh, I've never actually heard of that before.
I actually have it. So you take a can of Monster Energy.
You pop it on top.
Yeah, so if you don't want to drink it, you can pop the cap on top and screw it, and it turns into kind of like a tumbler, a bottle.
That's actually cool.
If you knock it over, it doesn't spill.
I actually think I need that. Oh my gosh,
it's
that's actually a
very,
really
very
cool idea.
Yes, I have it.
Because one thing I don't like sometimes like hand drinks is that if I only want to drink half of it or I only have time to drink half, and let's say we're out, where do you put it? You just leave it on the table.
This one you can screw it, put it on the table, in the fridge, anywhere you like.
Amazing. I need to take a look at this. All right, now speaking of amazing, we're going to jump into our amazing final game of the day. It's game number 6. It's Kalahari. It's Groups A versus C. Group B can only watch on and take notes for tomorrow. But are we seeing any shenanigans? It looks like we've got a couple teams jumping right on top of each other. And look at this, even the blue zone, we're going to be seeing some contention here.
It's SES, I think, and FARANG. So, and we get a very southern circle, at least the initial one looks like it. AXIS Esports against VGM and KOG. Kind of watching this happening nearby, but we gotta turn our attention to SES against FARANG first. Two back getting punched to death. SES ALFAINK starting things off on a good note, drawing first blood. There's a FARANG kind of in the wrong hood right now. Riptide Rhythm getting just destroying space. Only DEWA, he doesn't have much left. They were able to slow down the pursuit for now, but the members of VGM on the other hand are gonna try and take out AXIS. Too bad he just came back. He wants to join his team at the sub. This is an absolute bloodbath. Ray is pushing forward. SES ALFAINK taking space.
He's scouting for the team, I think. Too Bad's floating right on top of them because he wants to tell his team, all right, this is where they are. He's going to come in for the backstab. They'll turn around to deal with Too Bad. He goes down again, but is this the opportunity that FARANG was looking for?
Bai just got Jojo. Good day just went down. But it's by EVOS Phoenix.
Oh!
Moshi was nearby.
Oh my goodness!
Ventured into the high tier loose zone, grabbed a sniper rifle, and he's now just
Barber's
third-partying
down
this.
too.
Not like this for SES, Moshi.
Oh, they're gone.
Why do you have to do this?
This is a terrible. This is literally 2 terrible rounds for SES, right? They had the Booyah, and then their final 2 games, plop, squished, rolled together, and just tossed into the trash.
Yeah, they had such a good chance against FARANG, and Moshi shows up and be like, yeah, well, 3 kills.
Hey, I'm just going to say it right now, okay? Too Bad with the backstab play. Balls. That guy had balls of steel.
Yeah, true is life for a round. They got a bit of assistance, but no, they'll take it. They'll take the wipe. I mean, SES just such a sad way to go, right? They got a monstrous booyah, and the last 2 rounds were just...
Stay hidden, Bayets. Don't move a muscle. This is unfortunate too because there's a revival point right there, but there's just too many bodies here.
Yeah, they just it got taken over by a first raider, and those were the guys that took out Moshi as well. But I mean, EVOS Phoenix, they've done this a few times. They will just bring him back. How long can Bias stay put?
Well, I mean, there's 2 teams there.
It's an area that you normally don't check.
Normally, but I think there's just too many people there, right? Like, there's just too many busybodies that could just come in and contest.
Uh-oh, Heavy is nearby. So first raiders would be...
No. The good news would be that if Heavy actually decides to engage, and then Bayats might be able to slip out. So it could be good news. It depends on who spots who first.
Just don't move.
Don't move an inch.
Unless first raiders are also looking for a place to hide, then you have to fight for it.
Sure. Alright, I've got King of Gamers point of view. I mean, it's more or less free here. There's no teams. They did get 1 elim, so a point on the board here for this squad. But we haven't really seen too much here for King of Gamers. We will switch on over to EVOS as well.
Very interesting though for King of Gamers because they are the only Thai team so far that hasn't kind of just
popped off.
Just ran out the gates and guns blazing, right? They are playing a very, very slow game.
Well, it just seems like maybe that's their play style. So they don't play that conventional hyper-aggression that's famous for them from their region, but they play that more patient style where they focus more on the macro, because that seems to be where it's really at for King of Gamers. Like, we don't see them being the ones to start the fights.
They skirt around kind of the circumference of the circle, but oh boy.
So many people. Oh, I think, did they spot Heavy?
No.
Heavy's taking damage.
Heavy's gonna fight first raiders for sure. What a shot. Tom XT from long range. Bias is just gonna enjoy the show with popcorn, just listening to all of this commotion. And Heavy getting 2 kills. First raiders, can he get away? Getting spammed down from above. The vehicle on fire. Tom XT is doing so much work. Heavy is just punishing First Raiders for being in this spot.
Oh, I mean, First Raiders, they want to use that revival point, but can they?
I don't think they can get there.
I mean, take a look at the map. There's 2 more teams on the top left-hand side. Sorry,
And
2 more players.
Souza, oh,
That's
just behind a 10 actually. Getting his feet shot off. Nice.
Just don't move.
It's right there.
Don't breathe. Don't move. Don't breathe. Stay still.
I told you that is an angle that people normally don't check.
It's like the indestructible couch.
It is like the indestructible couch.
Oh my gosh, I actually cannot believe he's still alive.
This guy must be the most patient gamer.
If I was him, I would just have the volume turned on max. You know, you gotta hear every footstep if he's not using earbuds.
Kind of figuring out when to run, when to bolt. I mean, if he gets out of this, he has a chance to revive his whole team. But for EVOS Divine,
not looking too good so far.
not looking too good. NGX is showing up. Uh-oh. EVOS Divine wiped out. NGX stealing one of those kills. MDH will not be happy about that one.
I think they'll also know roughly where NIGMA are as well, right? Because you take that pot shot, the sound is there, sort of gives away your position. So now it's going to be NIGMA to put the pressure here onto MDH, but they are on the low ground, so a bit of an awkward position to be unless they get lucky with a headshot. I want to see poor Farah.
I mean, MDH doesn't have much time to recover from this.
Where are they? All right.
Still at the sub.
Look, I think if I was Bayet, I think I'd be frustrated. You'd be wondering, like, why are you not leaving the
Put
sub?
your phone down, go to the washroom, come right back.
No, just go away. Just leave me alone.
They're not going to move for a while.
I think if you're Bayets, you can't go anywhere anyway, though. So you're kind of stuck here until they leave.
You have to pray that Heavy leaves and you get access to the revival point that is right on top of
I don't think he wants to use that one, though. I think you have to rotate to the western revival point, the one that's empty.
It's slightly further, right?
It's further, but it's safer
It
rather
is.
than the sub. I think it's too close if you try and do the one at the sub. I don't know, it's hard. We'll see what Bayets decides to do.
It's a tough spot.
I don't want to see his name on that kill feed. No.
Well,
Oh.
Fugod, he's just going to grapple up top. Well, instantly just blast Don't Cry.
Don't Cry, unfortunately, gets taken down immediately, but feel good. Nice shots.
There's a vending machine
Ooh.
right there. MDH can use it if they want to.
They will spot out MDH as well, thanks to Fulgod's positioning. Fantastic
go
job
for it.
spotting. I love how this guy's like, I see people, I need to be there.
And DEWA is making life for NDH really hard because if they try to peek out and challenge NGX, you have this dude that's right on top of the tower.
Yep.
Stop is already in the vicinity. This is very, very dangerous. Stop. Does he get the read right? Turns the corner, makes contact, dodges that grenade launcher. And
Oh.
still gets it. Almost took himself out, but backup is there for NGX. 2 versus 2. Stop, he needs help and he needs it now. DEWA is definitely not going to be the one to do so. But with Caramel getting eliminated, he has to be on ground himself. And Fugod able to wipe out the rest of MDH all on its
lucky.
own. 3 kills for this match.
Great job for Fulgod. He was the one that really salvaged it for the team. So he was able to keep them busy. That means DEWA is able to go in for the pickups. They will have a complete roster because they do have the revive as well. So NIGMA Galaxy, maybe a potential team that could be taking the next booyah. But yes, he's
Still right there.
he's still hiding. He's still waiting for them to leave.
He's not getting away anytime soon.
Oh,
That's for
goodness.
sure. I mean, all these footsteps.
Maybe he just wants to use the vending machine, but I don't know if he can afford the buys.
Circle's closing in as well.
He's
so.
got nowhere to go.
Well, he's not going anywhere, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's just going to stay there.
Maybe AXIS can save him, you know? Just maybe. EVOS Phoenix is so...
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for AXIS because we have seen this team be one of the first to be knocked out consistently. I don't know if they're capable of actually going head-to-head against Heavy.
AXIS just flew in.
What?
Raph,
Like-
what?
Like they just went in?
Sir,
Oh, I see. Okay, what's...
Raph just... wow. Maybe they didn't know that Heavy was there, but... I'm not really sure if that's...
No,
Give them the benefit of doubt. They
not
probably
the
didn't know.
play.
Yes, definitely not.
Not the play.
Well, we can see the whole map, so according to us, that's not the play.
Oh, I think they're leaving. I think they're actually moving. We'll have to see later. It'll be a miracle if Heavy does decide to move. It's hard to say if that's going to happen. King of Gamers picking up some vehicles. They're going to be moving around the map at least just to scout things out, to see where the competition is. I think they're going to find out very quickly that NIGMA Galaxy has taken up the lovely refinery.
Driving one of the loudest vehicles in the game as well.
Yep.
On Kalahari nonetheless, I mean...
They're trying to find the angles, but I think they can't quite tell where they
What?
are. What? Huh?
What? I was about to say that Sam 9 were in a
Wow.
pretty good spot, but sure.
Right. All right, so Kevin gets taken down. Pretty unfortunate there. King of Gamers, though, currently under fire. Osaka going down as well. Husky?
Yeah, this is...
I'm a bit confused.
I'm very confused. I'm still in shock with that, with what Dew just did, but you know, there's no time to mourn over the loss of Victory. We gotta look at KOG because they might be the next to go. Oh, the
now
grenade shower is coming in. The glue wall melter is there. I mean, Knight.
Just gonna expand all of his glue walls.
Yeah, this is good Knight for sure. Just barricade himself in this fortress of glue wall. He left the gap. Oh, this is gonna rush him down. EVOS Phoenix 6 points so far.
Oh my goodness, they are well on their way to getting those points. All it takes is that booyah, and I think what are we looking at? 12 points.
12
kills and the booyah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is do with these shots?
They're not doing too well because 7-9 have just rushed them. Phil God, he's still alive. Doobie, good salvage. Just trading him back, and then GX.
Oh no.
Getting punished just a bit, and that is Raph. That's the guy that tried to rush it to heavy and went down, but 7-9 is not going to be happy with Dew getting that crisp shot just now. It's what, 3 versus 1 in favor of 7-9.
Yeah.
There's a buy point nearby, but you gotta get past Raph.
Pants is still there.
Heavy is not moving.
I know, they're literally not moving. They're just like, we're gonna stick.
Oh wait, he dropped down!
Did he?
She tried to bolt.
But,
did they see it?
That's what I want to know. Do they know that he moved?
Probably not.
I think it was just fall damage.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
They found Dew, that's for sure.
But what's the plan there for Bayetz though? Like, is he gonna be able to make it to a vending machine? Is that the play?
That's kind of like the only reasonable play.
Oh, he's run into Exac. Okay, this could be bad if Exac spots him.
Does Exac know though? I feel like he's occupied by Dew, because Raph hears all of that. And I think they saw Dew. Like, look at that glue wall. It was actually to block off Exac. There's a chance that Bias survives this just because
Dew
of
doesn't
Dew.
even know. Oh my goodness.
And Heavy, he just got wiped that EVOS.
Wow.
What a turnaround. Dew is still alive. He is completely trapped. But where's Bias though?
Well,
where's
okay,
this guy?
here's the thing though. I kind of don't mind if Dew's the last one. Oh, I don't mind if he's the last one alive. He's got the sniper, so he could get lucky with those potential headshots, right?
Exact, he is preoccupied. I think Bias is already out. 7-9. This is the best round that they have so far. Are they gonna do this though? They're gonna run into the Brethrens first. It's gonna be AXIS Esports Raph.
Oh no.
Encircled by 7-9, just blasted by those shotguns. 7-9 making a meal out of this. NIGMA Galaxy also out. P getting that kill onto Dew. EVOS Phoenix also not healthy. These two guys, 7-9 might have a chance. We might be proven wrong in this last round.
It could be the redemption play. We've been waiting for this team to pop off, and this might just be it.
EVOS Phoenix, remember, the MVP of the World Series is alive. It's Moshi. This guy can do wonders. 7-9. Inching closer and closer, though, that bullet, high caliber, can penetrate through those glue walls. 7-9 needs to gain distance right now. P doing a good job. All those glue walls, giving them so much room to work. Raja is in the face of Jonah. Can Jonah win this? Gotta isolate those fight. And Fikri snuffs out Exac. Moshi is alive. Point blank in the face of Zan. Moshi still keeping it going.
Down.
Finally down. It's down to Jonah. Can he keep this rolling for EVOS Phoenix? Jonah in the blue zone. Jonah with one more, but he needed just a tad bit more. 7-9 to close out the night. It's a booyah for the new roster of this squad.
This is some good news for the team. We've been waiting to see some success for them, and it finally happens. Congratulations to 7-9. This was a really, really interesting game. There was so much happening all across the map, right? Like, we've had the literal king of the hill here with poor Bayetz and Heavy. We had EVOS being taken down. This is probably the weakest, you want to say weakest game for EVOS Phoenix. We didn't see them be so strong in that late game because they were pretty wounded. There was only two players left. We're so used to seeing the entire roster alive.
They played 4 rounds 2 booyahs, and the other 2 rounds that they didn't get booyah, they were second.
Yes.
So their weakest performance is second place in this. By their standards.
By their standards.
And it was actually a good recovery for Sem9, right? When I looked at the map at one point, I was like, yeah, Sem9 is in a good spot, not contested. Then DEWA happened, and I think Sem9 made a very smart call of just rushing down NGX and Refinery. I think that really kept them in the running. And at the end of the day, no, they just had a numbers advantage over EVOS.
This was such, I don't know, for some reason I feel like this was probably the most memorable game for me today. Like, it isn't a case of like everyone just run and gun, but there was a lot of things happening, a lot of storylines. It wasn't the same. I feel like it was just so different compared to all the games that we've seen today.
Yeah, there's just a lot, well, not action in particular, but there's just
strategy. I think there was a lot of strategy involved.
This shot is my favorite shot.
I was confused about that one. I was like, how's this guy even see
I saw
it?
this one black dot, and I'm like,
This little pixel.
I think that's someone's hit.
That pixel looks off.
I don't think that's, why is something popping out of that tower? But this one was kind of like the final moments. We had 4 teams alive at one point.
Yes.
Everyone just expired to the blue zone. Across Jonah, almost keeping it alive. I think if Sem9 had one less member, that would have been EVOS Phoenix's round.
I think as well, if Sem9 didn't have enough glue walls to leapfrog their way up the hill, right? Because they were also under assault from Moshi. Like, we already know that he was the big damage dealer. He had the sniper gun, the sniper. So because he wasn't able to get those single shots in, it was sort of just a safe way for Sem9 to come into that final fight.
Yeah, I mean...
So the economy game's pretty important, but so here's the bad news. We will not get the 100-pointer today. Unfortunate.
Pretty close. I think we are 6 points away. So it should be 94 for EVOS Phoenix. But Sem9, kind of at least holding up that MSP flag, at least with this booyah. Definitely not the most glorious round for them, but it is a round that you can kind of see the idea behind Sem9's plays, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I personally want to see when you play against teams that are generally just aggressive and are just more confident because of how good they are. You want to be able to challenge them. You want to take them on, and being fully reactive isn't really the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough play style to play if you're not the one that's probably the most mechanically skilled team in the game. But I want to see the overall leaderboard to see where the teams are currently sitting after the day 1 performance. I do believe we'll see it after this, but we are going to have a quick look here at Sem9. Now, if you did see the stats from the previous round, you're looking at this one, you're probably thinking like, oh, this is way less. It was just because the game was different. Last game we had EVOS Phoenix rushing everybody. They were the ones just looking for kills non-stop. Whereas Sem9 this round, it was a much more slower, I want to say technical game for this team, making sure that they had safe entry points going into those fights, picking the right engagements as well, not sort of going into everything blindly. So the damage might not be up there, but it's because it came down to them just wanting to play a smart game, right? Yeah. Not doing stupid things.
This was right after we kind of went through a very brief history of Sem9 and how they came to be with this roster, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I was there and I left, they got someone new and now I'm back. How are we going to gel together? But the overall standing still remains kind of what we expected it to be. EVOS Phoenix leading by 20 points in first place. EARENA in second, Attack All Around in third, NIGMA in fourth. And surprisingly, Sem9, because of that one great round, they are in fifth place.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of what happens when you have a leaderboard where it's very top heavy, right? Like all the points are going towards the top teams. Where if you're in the middle of the pack, you sort of have a chance, even if you just have an average round, assuming that the teams you're competing with possibly get nothing or just a couple points in their pocket. But I think coming into the tournament, if you saw all the teams and their general form, and if you know anything about them, top 4 kind of makes sense.
Yeah. All Thai teams, right?
Yeah, so Thai teams. But I think we do have our definitive top 3. It's going to be pretty tough for anyone from 4th and beyond to really catch up to Attack All Around. This team has shown a lot of consistency. I mean, EARENA and EVOS Phoenix, these teams are very consistent. But then we sort of have that middle race, right? So 4th until I even want to say 11th.
these teams can easily move amongst themselves so they can get that booyah or a very good round. But then we also have to keep in mind only top 12 are making it to the grand final. So if you take a look at the race for 12, you kind of have a two-way here because you've got FARANG and First Raiders Eclipse sort of fighting for that 12th spot. Team FARANG.AXIS and King of Gamers, these guys are close, but today was not a good day for these teams.
Definitely not. But I think that, you know, with how things stand by the end of the day, I would say that we technically only have 9 slots to go to Jakarta, right? Because the first 3, you might as well book the tickets for, for you know, the top 3.
It's 4th to 12 that we're really looking at now.
We're looking at 9 more slots. Farang is kind of the gatekeeper, but I think if we kind of talk about MSP, this is a tournament that I think means the most to SEM9 and expand in general if they are able to make it to Jakarta, especially SEM9, because this team has not gone to an international stage before. If we talk about them as an organization in Free Fire, you know, SEM9 has been to FFWS, Farang has been there as well, but not SEM9.
Yeah. So that's going to be our leaderboard for today. Now keep in mind we only played 2 maps for today, which means some teams might have an advantage in today's rounds, but tomorrow could be a bit of a different story. So tomorrow we're going to say goodbye to Bermuda and Kalahari and say hello to Purgatory and Alpine. Now we know some teams do prefer this and other teams are going to possibly hate this, so we could be seeing a bit of a jumble up on the leaderboard because especially towards the bottom of that bracket, a booyah can easily push a team into top 12.
Oh yes, and it really comes down to just one good round, right? If we've seen SEM9 kind of rocket up to 5th place, I think it is doable for any teams that are kind of in the last place. Only 6 teams will not make it, so I think the competition is wide open. And from what we've observed across these 6 rounds, it's fair to say that the teams that are at the second half of the leaderboard are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I do think on that second half, it really just comes down to whether or not you have that breakout round.
Yeah.
Because especially for today, a lot of the teams really struggled to even get the booyahs to begin with.
From round 1, right? The moment round 1 started, AXIS got wiped out in less than 30 seconds.
Well, I think AXIS, now unfortunately I'm going to mention this, AXIS are currently in last place with 10 points.
No, Anxiety.
Was it Anxiety?
Yeah,
I thought it was
Anxiety.
AXIS. Oh, AXIS must be above them then. So Anxiety, 10 points, and then the next team above them is either 13 or 17. But the point gap between the bottom of the bracket, it's pretty small.
Yeah, just one good round and you can make it. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
our worries regarding Anxiety, it has really kind of manifested itself, right? Like Anxiety just not able to get a footing in any of these rounds.
I mean, it happens for a lot of teams. Like sometimes maybe just day 1's not a good day. You know, sometimes you gotta wait to day 2. You gotta warm up. You gotta get your butt kicked sometimes before you can start kicking some butts. But yes, as you can see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the schedule for tomorrow. So as usual, we're gonna go for the normal format of A versus B, B versus C, and then A versus C. But of course, we are jumping into Purgatory and Alpine now. I know the maps are rather similar because they're both green and blue, but what can you really do? Alpine's not a particularly a snowy map, but that's fine with us because both of these maps, they do pose different issues for the teams, right? Like the terrain is vastly different, and then you have a couple of pretty interesting tricks up your sleeve. I think in particular for Alpine, I keep seeing teams just landing, or at least reviving, and just camping out on top of the windmill.
Alpine is kind of like the MSP map because our teams absolutely love Alpine. So we'll see if they are able to pull out some tricks on Alpine.
They're sick of the heat. They're just like, we want the cold, you know, give us the chilly mornings.
Yeah, that could be it. You know, this is day 1. Some teams started out really hot. Some teams had a really cold evening, but it's just the beginning of the group stage. We have more to come. And all of this only made possible by our partners and friends over at Snapdragon Elite Gaming when winning matters. Remember, this is the 2nd season, and that means that we have been here for more than half a year.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's actually been quite long.
Right, being with Snapdragon Elite Gaming themselves themselves, so incredible people to work with, and they are also really giving all these teams a platform to showcase what they're made of and helping these teams grow. We also got to thank Monster Energy for allowing everyone behind the scenes to unleash the beast within them, so you can check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And last but not least, if you are into great deals and game top-ups, do check out Kachi Shop at their website, www.kachishop.com, for the best gaming deals.
Well, that's going to conclude day 1. We are going to jump into day 2 tomorrow, so make sure you come back tomorrow at the exact same time, because if you don't quite remember, the reason why these teams are playing in this group stage right now is because they're aiming for this grand final that you're seeing on the screen. The top 12 teams will be flying over to Jakarta on the 4th and 5th of February to duke it out for that $65,000 prize pool. And that's a lot of money on the line for some of these teams. So, of course, you got to try your best to make it to top 12, and then from there on out, pull out all the strats on LAN.
Best part is Jakarta has one of the craziest Free Fire crowds, so you definitely want to be there to experience it. But you know, we still got a long way to get to that point, so for now, enjoy the ride in this challenge group stage. More great Free Fire games to come. This is the end of the night. My name is Husky. She's Dana Lee. We're gonna wish you guys a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more Free Fire action.
See you, survivors.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Till a player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine, yeah. I'm making a play, the game on the line, yeah. I've been on the grind, yeah. I jump in the spot, I made it my time, yeah. Look in the sky, yeah. The stars align, no shade to shine, 'cause